Got to clean off the windshield. Big Sills, haven't said that in a bit. Drama-filled week for the Philadelphia Eagles. Started at the White House. And today, with Jordan Davis's fifth-year option being picked up. By the way, bad sign for him. They picked that up. We're going to hit on it here in a minute. I'll give you my Big Sills takeaways on that. $12.9 million. That's not awful. That's not awful. Covers the 2026 season and also gives you 2 years latitude with the guy. He's not a liability. And he's not a financial liability at $12.9 million. Okay? When it gets to a point where he becomes a financial liability, that's when the Eagles will move off him. You are not paying that guy $17 million. And by the way, for the record, if Howie and the organization liked him, they would have treated him like they did Devontae Smith and wrapped that fifth-year option up and created a 3-year contract extension for the kid. They passed on it. End of the story. No other way to look at it. They want him to earn this extension. You've been there how many years now? 3? He has not earned it. And they're telling you that by picking up the 5th year. Is he important to the run defense? Of course he is. 13th pick in the draft. Hey, get this. At $12.9 million, he's not a liability. And most importantly, like I just said, he's not a financial liability. He's not. Guy who plays 20 plays a game is not a $20 million a year guy. Still, is he important? Yeah, I can get a guy cheaper. Cheaper. Hey, and by the way, for the record, why his salary is important. One of the most important things, the Eagles are cutting salaries. Gardner Johnson saved them no money on their salary cap, except for what? They didn't want to pay him $11.5 million. That had everything to do with money and nothing to do with the cap. By the way, they're $22 million under the cap now. And they're moving off a Goddard who's owed no money because they don't want to pay the $14 million. They're being financially frugal with the offensive side of the ball, and they don't want to pay certain people. End of story. Jordan Davis, let's ask the fair question. Has he over or underachieved as a first-round pick? Over or under? Has he over or underachieved? I think he's underachieved. Big time. You were expecting more from that player. Plain and simple. Nobody with any brains would think he overachieved. And for the fact that Vic had to move him to a position where all you have to do is play 2 downs, tells you he's not a 3-down guy. He is not a 3-down guy. Remember something. Him not getting a 3-year contract extension has nothing to do with the cap. Has everything to do with they don't want to pay that player. There's no other way to look at it. There is no other way. As a matter of fact, Jordan Davis is a good run stopper. He's not exceptional. He is good. Okay? Do I think he's a special player? Can I replace him? Absolutely. I'll replace him with a cheaper player. He's not special. Carter's special. Vaughn's special. Hugh looks special. Cooper looks special. He doesn't. Okay? He does not look special. And you pay $20 million a year for special players. The Eagles are telling him, you have not lived up to what we thought you were going to be, or you would have a contract extension. Like all the stars that were in your draft. Okay? All the stars that were in your draft are either getting their fifth year picked up, and the real good ones are getting the extensions. So again, as I've been telling you the last couple months, the fifth-year option, you get to keep the kid for 2 more years at $12 million. That's okay. Especially the way the salaries are going up. That's not a big hit. $20 million and $18 million when you got to pay the guy next to him. So wait a minute. You're going to pay the guy next to him $40. He plays 3 downs. You're paying a guy $20 and he plays 2 downs. Yeah, okay. That sounds right. Common sense. Use it. Try it. Jordan Davis has underachieved as a Philadelphia Eagle. Okay? Here, Moro Jomo's overachieved. He's overachieved. Jalix Hunt is overachieving. Nolan Smith has underachieved. He's underachieved. This guy's played 8 games. Now you got to see him play 17. He hasn't proven that at all yet. I mean, hey, and by the way, Xander says this all the time. Hey, Jaden Daniels is going to take a step back. Oh, but not Q and Cooper. Those guys are going to excel and continue to raise their game, right? Oh, okay. That only applies, I guess, to Jaden Daniels. That he's the only rookie from a year ago is going to take a step back. Really? Okay. I doubt that. Okay. Look at this dickhead. Why are you shitting on Davis? Shitting on Davis? Son, there's no bell curve in the NFL. You either achieve or you don't. He's okay. That's your life. There's no bell curve. You're either great or you're not. What do you think this is? You talk like you're one of those guys that talk on the news that everybody should be paid the same and treated the same. Welcome to the real world, guy. When you get drafted 13th overall, there's an expectation on you. Unlike you, Steve. When you put somebody in the 13th hole, you want them to be the next Fletcher Cox. Jesus Christ, try to set a standard for yourself. By the way, why don't you live up to the Eagles standard? Give me a break. He is completely underachieved. He's been a good ball player. I can find another good ball player. Isn't that what you tell me the Eagles are all about? Finding good ball players? He does not produce. And then what you try to do is, because you're listening to the Philly media, they're going to pacify you by going, hey, he played good in the playoffs. Okay, he did. So did Oren Burks. Says you either produce or you don't. That's right. It's have and have-nots. That's what the NFL is. If it was that easy, what is his name? What was his name? That dumb take. If it was that easy, you'd be playing in the league. That's what makes the NFL special and hard to play. Is that unlike people, there's no bell curves. Well, it's kind of he's good. Yeah, whatever. Let me ask you this. You think the Jordan Davis pick has been a winning pick? Yes or no? You think that's been a winning pick? Yes or no? Well, here, let me go here. Has it been a winning pick? Has it been a winning pick? Look at this dumbass take. Brady was a 6th rounder, dickhead. This guy was the 13th pick in the draft. Different expectations. I take a lot of heat for saying the Eagles should have taken Parsons over Devontae Smith. And yet, to make a Pro Bowl and Parsons a Defensive Player of the Year candidate. Or Kyle Hamilton. That's the guy I said you should take. Now, again, at 22, I thought that's where he was. He's completely underachieved. And at the end of the day, that's why they didn't give him a 3-year extension. I look at John saying that they're working on a 3-year extension. Then why'd they wait until the eve of the 5th year to pick it up if they really are working on a deal? I think they're telling him if they were really impressed with the guy, they'd have picked it up day after the Super Bowl, or they would have did it during the draft. I mean, let's be candid here. Jordan Davis. Hey, how about this one? How many people think Jordan Davis is on this football team after 2 years? I don't. He's gone. Why? Because the next guy next to him is going to be a $40 million a year guy. Then you got to decide whether or not you're going to pay one of your edge rushers if he turns out to be Jalix Hunt or Nolan Smith. Another 25? Where are you getting this money from? He does not produce. Feels he's good in the run game. I get it. It's important. Put him in there for 20 plays? Absolutely. How much is that worth to the Eagles? I think it should show you what they did in offseason. Defense, they torched that defense. They're telling you flat out, hey, I'll blow that entire defense up. And they have. They blew the number one and maybe the greatest defense in Eagle history up because you know why? It wasn't over salary cap. They didn't want to pay those guys. Like you guys said, can't pay everybody. Okay, that's right. Can't pay everybody. And especially the guys on defense. Nobody gets a second contract. Think about that. Jordan Davis has not gotten a second contract. Why? Because of what I was talking to Xander about the other day. Nobody gets them. The Eagles refuse to give people second contracts. There's not one guy on that defense except for Reed Blankenship that's got a second deal or will get one. We'll see Q. And, hey, by the way, you know what's going to come down to it over the next couple of years? Who gets a second contract between Cooper and Q? Especially if you keep Cooper in the slot and he makes $20 million less than his partner that he thinks he can also play the corner on. Those are some big decisions. And those aren't just Eagle decisions. Those are decisions. By the way, one more time here. You don't get paid on Super Bowls. You get paid on how good you are in National Football League. Nobody pays you on wins. Nobody pays you on NFC championships. Nobody pays you on that. That's not how salaries are negotiated. Get this. There is not one example of a incentive in your contract that has anything to do with wins. There is nothing like that in any NFL contract for the amount of wins, for winning a Super Bowl. None of that is in your contract. Do you know that? Nothing. It's all how good you are. And Jordan Davis has not lived up to them thinking he deserves a second contract. Not yet. Okay? Not yet. Remember something. You play this game for money, not pats on the back. Hey, they like me. There's a negotiation that goes on with everybody, and everybody knows. Okay? Pats on the back, telling you what a good guy you are, that don't pay your bills. Super Bowls don't get you paid. Facts. Look at the highest paid players in the league. Let's take a look at this for a second before we move on. Highest paid players in the NFL. Here's the highest paid players in the National Football League heading into the 2025 NFL season. Here they are. Dak Prescott. I can't even tell you what a shitty postseason record is. $60 million, never been to an NFC championship game in his life. Josh Allen, $55 million. Never been to a Super Bowl. Joe Burrow, been to a Super Bowl. Can't stay healthy. $55 million. Trevor Lawrence, $55 million. I don't know what he's done in the postseason. Jordan Love, $55 million. Never been to a conference title game. Tagovailoa, has he even played in the playoffs? $53 million. Golf, Super Bowl, NFC title game, $53 million. Justin Herbert, $54 million. Lamar Jackson, $52 million. There's old Jalen at $51. Kyler Murray, $46.1. These are all the highest paid guys in the league. You think they're paid on Super Bowls? Or playoff wins? What are you talking about? Get your shit right. Because you have a good postseason record, and because you play well in a couple games, that don't pay you. Jordan Davis, 50-year option. Love you talking down on Davis Hills. Xander, stop falling for it. Love you guys. Not sure what you're talking about, dude. If you think Big Marshall, he's lived up to his draft place, have at it. I don't. I played the fucking position. Love you, big guy. 1991 defense better than the 24? I think so. Because you know what they did? They closed the deal. I think they're a better overall unit. How about this too, Jack? I'll say this to you about the 91 gangrene versus 24. I think it's a better all-around group. Okay? And I think there were more superstar talented players that were on that gangrene, Jerome, Reggie, Seth. But I do think the secondary is better with the 24 group. I think that group is just better overall. Now the coordinator's better in 91. You know, Buddy's better. Okay? Buddy's better. Okay? Well, the competition was better in the 90s because teams could keep teams together. They're not better athletes, but you're right. Competition was better because you didn't have a salary cap to deal with. That's correct. Sean, the athletes are better today. No question about it. Okay? But the competition, because there was no free agency. And you got to stockpile talent. And Bud Carson was a phenomenal coordinator too, Kyle, for sure. Okay? Absolutely. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Get this. Look at this douchebag. How many people are happy with the production of Jordan Davis in here? 13th pick, and you want to pay him $20 million on a con. It would have been $18, $19 million if you gave him a 3-year contract extension. How many people believe? And how many people in here would give, let's see, 18 million. 10, 14. How many people would give Jordan Davis a 3-year, $54 million contract at $18 million a year? How many people would do that right now? On what you've seen with that player, Moro Jomo played as many reps. Knowing full well you've got to pay the guy next to you close to $40 million. How many people would pay Twizzes $18 million per? Think of this. He just got 12.9. What do you think that's going to be? What, an extra $1.5 million? $3 million? And by the way, you've already fucked up on a contract once with that Bryce Huff stiff contract. You're going to do it again? How many people would pay him and give him a 3-year deal right now on April 30th? Who? Of course, Davis is not worth. Then what are we talking about here? He's on the Eagles 2 more years. 3 years, 36. For a guy that plays 20 plays a game, what a waste of money. Get a guy in the 5th round to do that. Bro, I'd go get Linval Joseph to do that shit at $4 million. How stupid can you be? Why would you overpay that? Why in the world would you overpay that? Because you're dumb. Sills, most people don't realize Bud Carson was the guy that started the Tampa 2. Actually, Kyle, Tony Dungy did in Minnesota. He took it. Oh, wait, Bud Carson with the Steelers, and then Tony modified it in Minnesota and then took it to Tampa. That's right, Kyle. Kyle, that's good knowledge. That's right, Bud Carson, because Bud was in Pittsburgh also with Tony, and then they took that up. Tony took it to Minnesota when he was the D coordinator up there, and when he got the head coaching job, he took it to Tampa and created the Tampa 2 with Monty Kiffin. That's correct. That's absolutely correct. You're right. Okay? And again, here's the cool thing with think about this. The Eagles were pretty smart here in this. They gave basically Jordan Davis a 2-year contract without having to pay him. Hey, get this. I don't give a shit what lab he's in. He plays high, and he's not a 3-down guy. He doesn't have the skill to be a 3-down player. Dude, he can lose all the weight you want. Got nothing to do with weight. He's not skilled. He is not productive enough to play. Now, look, you know what Xander said about a year ago, which is correct. If that guy could show any propensity to play a 3 technique, he'd get a 3-year contract extension. But because he can't, hey, by the way, I know how Clint Hurt feels about him. I know what they think of him. They really like him, but not that much. But not that much. Hey, get this. Who is more important cog to the Philadelphia Eagle defense last year? Josh Sweat or Milton Williams or Jordan Davis, who played 20 reps? What would Davis look like if Clint wasn't there? Terrible. He wouldn't get that 5th year picked up. If Clint Hurt wasn't there, Jordan Davis would not have had the 5th year option picked up. No matter how much they like him. Hey, by the way, there's no way in the world they're going to extend to Kobe Dean. No matter what you guys think of him. You're not giving money to that kid. Sills, he's good. Shit, you won't give the money to a guy who misses 8 games or 5 games a year in Dallas Goedert, you're surely not going to give a guy who can't stay healthy. And by the way, they didn't need his ass for the Super Bowl. They didn't need Nakobe Dean. Dude, when you win the Super Bowl as convincingly as you did in the NFC title game and in the Super Bowl, and Nakobe Dean was nowhere to be seen, I'm not paying that guy. A free agent step in for him and was just as effective, making $1.5 million. Why would I give that guy $10 million a year? Never happened. They won the Super. Like I said, he's like the Carson Wentz of linebackers. Dude, and why am I bringing up money? Here's why we're bringing money up. Because they are. Because they are. They're the ones bringing money up. Hit the like button, guys. Marcus Hayes is going to join us. Oh, Xander, I forgot to tell you. Marcus is going to join us at the top of the 3 o'clock hour. He's got a column to write. And we're going to talk to him. That'll be at the top of the 3 o'clock hour. Okay? A lot of DT skyrocket in year 4. That is so untrue. That's offensive linemen that do that. Offensive linemen are the late bloomers, defensive tackles. They produce right away. You know what you have. Bro, he is not producing. He plays 20 plays a game. Seals will Glenn replace Vic when, you know what? Pete Carroll loves him. I wonder if I can find this. Who played the most snaps on the Eagles in 24? I want to see what Jordan Davis's numbers are when it came to their defense. Here we go. Most snaps in 2024. Let's see here. Hurts played 934. Barkley played 801. Devontae played 801. AJ played 766. Jurgens played 1,068. Dickerson 996. Becton 903. Jordan Davis played 388 reps. Jalen Carter played 831. This is not counting the playoffs. Moro Ajomo played 388 snaps. Played just as many snaps as a 7th rounder did. And you want to pay that fucker $20 million a year. How stupid are you? Moro Ajomo's a 3-down guy. Moro Ajomo played as many reps as Jordan Davis did a year ago. Hey, and by the way, Jordan Davis wasn't getting double teamed. It was Jalen Carter. We were all bitching about how many double teams and how frustrating it is for the kid. Think about that. A 7th round draft choice is playing just as much as the 13th pick overall. Get this, Jack goes, who said 20? Well, look at Jack here. Well, let's try to help this kid out a little bit. He just got paid $13 million. So, Jack, what do you think that's going to be on a 3-year contract extension? What, 14? Says you can't discuss pro football without discussing money. Thank you, Bob. It's not about acquiring talent. It's about how much talent can you afford and where do I allocate my financial resources the most. That's it, Bob. That's how you do it. That's how you build a football team. You see, Bob, some of these people in here think this is like picking your buddy in your backyard for flag football. That's not what this is. That's what makes the league competitive. Is the salary cap it makes it difficult for people to keep talent. And that's why people watch the NFL. Sills, with all these former players going to college to coach, could you see any former Canes head coaches that would coach to you? One's right now, Mario Cristobal, having Ed Reed as a head coach. Mario Cristobal is a former Hurricane. I see some of the Ohio State guys doing it. You think you're better coach than Vic and Clint? You're basically calling Clint a dumbass. You'll have to explain that shit stain. How I'm calling him. What the fuck are you talking about? They gave the guy the 50-year option because they didn't want to give him an extension because he hasn't earned it. What are you talking about, shit stain? Help me out on this. I'm waiting. I got to hear this one. Got all day. No? Nothing? As usual. You know what the fuck you're talking about. Not that hard, kid. You got to take. Back it up with something. Like crickets. Come on, dog. Dude, I'm losing time here because I'm giving you more of my life than I really want to. I like to freaking kill myself giving you as much time as I have already. I've got 5 minutes of my life already that I wish I had back. I'll give you 2 more. You said Davis couldn't be here without Clint. He wouldn't be. No. Yes. You think Zach Bond would be the player? You want to know how dumb this guy is? How many people in here believe that Zach Bond would be the player he is without Vic? Man, are these people stupid? You apply one form of the metric to one, and you don't form the metric to the other. How many people believe that Zach Bond would be the player that he was a year ago without Vic Fangio? If Clint becomes the next DC after Vic, we're good. Absolutely, because he'll stay here forever. I mean, guys, nobody in here is going to sit here and go like this. Well, Zach Bond would have been great without Vic. Well, what happened to him in New Orleans? So he does, you know what he wants to do? He wants to make a narrative because he wants to celebrate a guy who underachieved in Jordan Davis by saying that he's a good player no matter if Clint's here or not. But yet, we're sitting here. Hey, let me ask you this. You think Nolan Smith would be the player that he was a year ago at the end of the year if it wasn't for Vic Fangio? Say he had Sean Desai. See, right here, this is the kind of guy here, when you have a conversation with him, they resort to violence because that's what he wants to do. Because you know why? That's low-brow thinking folks that I gave way too much of my time to today, RC3. Today wasn't a good day for you, son. Not a good day for you, kid. Well, I'll tell you what. You take your beating like that kid down in Atlanta probably took one. That assistant coach probably beat that kid's ass. So, hey, you take your beat and go sit in the corner. Don't worry about it, son. I won't hurt you. This guy here, man. Woo! I've never seen a guy take a nosebleed like that. Shit, man. Sorry about that, kid. Some of y'all fans give Davis more credit than he should. Oh, no, I know. That guy plays 20. Hey, Mauro Jomo played as many reps. And I want to give that guy $20 million. So what are you going to give Mauro? Hey, get this. Thomas Booker had 200 reps. Hey, oh, my God. And you want to pay a guy $20 million. Hey, let me give him 20. That still will give him 18. 18? Jesus criminy. 18? Dude, 12 is it. You want a 3-year contract extension? I'll tell you what, Jordan, for being an underachieving nose tackle, I'll give you, let's see, $36 million over 3 years. Take it or leave it. And you know what I'll do because I do like you? I'll make 20 of that or 18 of that guaranteed. That's where I see. Hey, tell me if you guys agree. If I were going to give Jordan Davis anything, it would be this. Let's see. Here. 3 years, $42 million. And I'll make 18 of that guaranteed. Is that all right? Right? It's about 14 a year. Take it or leave it. I'll give you 18 guaranteed. You think I'm giving you 18 a year and guaranteeing you 25 million? You got the wrong team. You got the wrong team. For a guy that plays 20 reps, I think that's if I like you. I don't think coaches get enough blame when talented players fail. That's true. If Sil says you have a low IQ, that's really low. Coming from a guy who understands low IQs, Princess is the key guy here. A winning take for Princess. Absolutely. If there's something that Prince knows, it's low IQs. He is it. The champion of low IQs. I got you, brother. Nobody in here knows lower IQs than you. Absolutely. I've never seen a guy in here that's got to be one of the greatest takes of all time. Yeah, right there, baby. Hey, Prince, man, me and you are going to grab some beers, man, and laugh our asses off. I promise you, bro. Okay? We are. We're going to laugh our asses off, dude. Yeah. You know, it's good. Hey, you know what Prince is? Prince is like the dude it's like, oh my God, my aunt watches the show. And let me just say this to you, man. When you sit around our dinner table back in the day, let me say this to you, man. Whoever hollered the loudest won the arguments. That's what it would be. Be screaming back and forth. It'd be a great time, man. Pasta Fazool and meatballs everywhere. Holy shit, I'd love that. That's good stuff there, Prince. Even though you got shit takes. Oh, man. Hey, Prince, are you good with this, man? 42 million, 3 years? I'm not going above that, right? Not going above that. 14 million. Dude, 12 is I'm going to do it because you won a Super Bowl with them. But I'm not giving you over 12 and a half. No fucking way. Okay? Hey, dude, I know I got to do all that, Rolla. Promise. Promise you, man. Absolutely. Okay? You good with that, Prince? Hey, Prince, I'll tell you what. This is what I would also do. What if Davis has some sort of psycho year this year? I would tell them this. Hey, listen to the position he puts him in if he plays great, too. Okay? He puts him in this position. Say this guy gets 6.5 sacks this year, and everyone's hoping for him. Hey, I want to make it clear here. I'm not rooting against him. I'm telling you who he is. Swear to beans. I'm not rooting against the kid. I would never root against a defensive lineman. Absolutely. By all accounts, everyone loves him. Okay? So for me, if that kid gets 6.5 sacks, all of a sudden they turn into like the top 3 defense after all them exits. Man, you're going to roll in that room there with Howie and go, hey, you know what? You don't want to give that contract extension? Okay. Well, here we are now. Tell you what, it ain't going to cost you 14. It's going to cost you 25. It's going to cost you 25 million per. Now we're talking 75 million. Okay? Now we're talking 75. Hey, by the way, I think him getting the 5th year picked up, I think that's a good thing for him. He has to know he has not lived up to that. 13th pick. I heard Xander say something important. I don't look at the 13th pick anymore because of how important the nose is in the defense. That's true. He's not a liability on the team yet. He'll be a liability when he's asking for more money. I got the Gorilla Davis can't even. Let's not use that word. Come on now. I mean, come on. We're not going there. Let's use a better word. I'll put it back up there, but we're not going there. Okay? Come on now. He's a football player and he's a man, and we're not going there. Okay? Take it from me. We're not going there. I know you didn't mean it, and I know you weren't going there, but take it from somebody who people will take it that you did mean it. Ask Xander how he feels. Xander's got that sphincter hole like this right now, man. People trying to put that nail in there, and he's got to pucker up a little bit. I love watching it. Better him than me, man. It's been years with me, and I'm done with it. Breaker. It's a make or break year for Davis. It is. It is. Horrible about. Oh yeah, it is. It is. Sills, you missed what? Oh, here. Put Leon's back up there again, if you can, there for me. Xander. Guys, do me a favor. Please hit the like button. Give me a total on where we are right now, too. Yeah, I guess LA was driving the golf cart or something. Okay. It's a viral question that's going around here. What's Leon had a super. If 100 men versus one silverback, who wins? Silverback. Dude, Big Sills was a silverback. How you doing? Hey, Big Sills. Clint Hurd is going to get Jordan Davis paid. How come he did it now? I know what Clint thinks of him. Great interview with Chris Hinton. Can you believe that guy? 8 All-Pros or Pro Bowls. And he's not in the Hall of Fame. Okay? Big Sills, big old silverback, ain't he? How you doing? What's this? Really? We can get 80 days. No. Me and Jerome. Hold on, Leon. Me and Jerome, the ultimate silverbacks. I'll tell you what. You send them 80 guys on me and him in our day. Come on, I'll take it. I'd love to take that on. My wife listens to the show. She saw me beat 5 dudes up in a gym once. And it wasn't nothing. I went and ate a sandwich after. Hey. Come. I'm not that guy anymore. I'm retired now. I'm more retired now. I'm more of a level-headed guy. My wife's laughing. She saw me beat 5 guys up in a gym. It's a true story. These guys came up because I was training someone. I was training a police officer. And I was training a police officer. My wife was with me. This guy comes up to me and he starts going, "Excuse me, what are you doing?" And I'm going, "Well, guy asked me to help him out on lifting." He was the Pinellas County sheriff. And he goes, "Sills, can you?" Yeah. So I brought him in there. We're working out. Guy goes, can you come into our office? And I go, "For fucking what? You're bugging me. Get away." I hate those gyms anyway. You know those LA Witnesses? You go in there and you got guys in spandex. Oh, those guys. I mean, I used to be so obnoxious, man. Well, more obnoxious. Working out, I hated those places because there were all stiffs in there. And every time someone would be on a tricep pull down the machine or something, Xander, you'll love this. They'd be on that. As soon as the guy got done, I'd go, "Yeah, let me get in here." And the guy would go, "Wait, I'm working out." I go, "Yeah, I really don't care." And like, if I had to do it, because I didn't like waiting around. And so my wife and I were like, I think that works your conditioning. So I'm in there. I get the dumbbells. I'm doing 250-pound dumbbell. I'm sitting there. Guys are going, they're dicking around talking to their boyfriends and all. And I go, are you using that guy or what are we doing here? What do you got? What do you got? A tea party coming up? I was terrible. Right. So this guy comes up to me, he starts chesting up on me. And I go, all right, let's go back to your office. So the guy starts saying shit to me and I throw him over his desk. I threw his buddy over his desk. Let's see if she answers. Hey, Kim, how many guys did I beat up at that gym? Kim, how many guys did I beat up at that gym? Say it. I need you. She won't say it. 5 guys. She laughed her ass off. We were training a Pinellas County cop. She won't do it because she likes to be behind the scenes. It's all good. I beat that guy. I beat all 5 of them. My wife was laughing so hard she couldn't believe it. She laughed her ass. I threw 2 guys over a desk, one into a plant. I pushed the guy back on his ass. And I had a cop with me. And Kim's laughing. She's laughing at these 5 guys laying all over the office. And I beat the shit out of them. My wife goes, that's about one of the great. See, my wife doesn't really care about anything other than feats of strength. You see, when my daughter does great feats of strength, that's the only thing that impresses her. Money doesn't impress her. Nothing impresses her except feats of strength. It's plain and simple. Sills, Davis is big, strong, and ran a 4.7. He never lived up to that ability, though. Why can't he be a better pass rusher? He doesn't have the skill for it. I think Eagles thought he would be. I did too. Hey, get this. You know that guy, Shamir Stewart? You know what? Get this. Xander likes that last pick in the draft you guys got from Vautech, right? And you're like this. Why doesn't that guy, and why did that guy fall? Why do you think that guy fell that far in the draft? Xander, put it in there. How many sacks did he have? It's a great conversation. What? Why do you think that guy, with all that production, was the last pick of the Eagles? Why do you think? He had 25 sacks in 2 years. I can work with that. That's why he was drafted. They didn't draft him because of his height and weight. His height and weight put him in the last pick for the Eagles. His production got him on the Eagles draft board. They drafted production. They didn't draft measurables. That's smart drafting. They looked and overlooked the measurables and took the kid. Hey, does he get hurt? Probably. Is he undersized? Probably. Is he a tweener? Probably. You know that kid Xander had? I keep calling him a kid. You know that guy he had on the other day? Because that guy puts him in a box. Well, if he's how tall is he? What's his? I don't even know what his size is. How tall is the kid and how much does he weigh? He had two years. He had 25 sacks. Right? I'm totally interested in that. There's a production there. He was more productive in college than Jordan Davis ever was, or that kid from A&M that went to the Bucks. He's 6'2". And how much did he weigh? 250. All right. And he's at Virginia Tech, right? By the way, I think Virginia Tech produces some pretty good defensive football players. And he had 2 years where he had 25 sacks. Well, shit. I'm totally going to give that guy a look. Maybe he ran a slow 40. Maybe he didn't have a good pro day. I mean, I'm always going to look at production, guys, especially when I get out of the first 3 rounds. Did you produce? You overlook measurables in the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th round. You overlook measurables and you look at production. Was he productive? Was he good? Did he play on a good team? That's how you look at drafting. Is he the best player on the board? Stills, this Shador prank call stuff making me root against him even more. No way they got this man, Jeff Ulbrich, emotionally apologizing on TV. Stupid. Because the liberal media wanted to make sure that the guy was punished. So he punished. The kid was stupid. The coach was dumb for leaving his laptop up. And they're making I'm surprised he's not in Guantanamo Bay. Hey, Pump, I'm surprised the guy's not in Guantanamo Bay. Sitting there in a jail cell right now, doing 6 months. Hey, get this. They care more about a guy who lived in Maryland, who wasn't a Maryland citizen, than they do about, they care more about the guy in Atlanta than they do about that dude. I mean, you can't get America any more effed up than it is right now. Hey, that MS-13 guy, I don't give a shit. But the guy in Atlanta, I care about. We need to punish his ass. You see what he did to poor Shador, who drives around in a Rolls Royce? You got to be, come on now. What are we doing here? Oh, my God. Hey, the MS-13 guy, hey, fuck him. The guy in Atlanta is the one I want. Get him. That's the one I want. You kidding me? Trump, deport him. Where? I don't know, Guantanamo Bay. Holy cow. Hey, whatever you do, don't pull any pranks on a Sanders. Jesus Christ. Hey, nobody's ever had a prank pulled on him. Good grief. Talk about soft. Hey, I was really glad to see the Toronto Argonauts have Shador Sanders' rights, because I will say this about it. Do you think the Browns are keeping 4 quarterbacks? Yeah, okay. Yeah, right. Okay, don't keep. Hey, but then again, knowing the Browns, they will. Knowing the Browns, they'll keep 4 quarterbacks. So it's after the year option. Give Davis 3 years, $55 million with 45. I'm not giving him $45 million guaranteed. Absolutely no way for a guy that plays 20. No way. That's too rich for me, man. Guaranteeing 90% of his contract? No, I see what you're doing. You're doing it on the cap. That seems to have a lot of financial commitment to him, though. Okay? I think that, I don't know, man. I get where, hey, Bob, you're doing it on the cap. So I get what you're doing on it. You're trying to lower the cap on the back end here so it doesn't look like a whack. All right. Guys, do me a favor, hit the like button. Top of the hour, we are going to talk to our friend Marcus Hayes. Get his spin. All right. Holy cow, I haven't even got to my topics yet. Really? Well, I did. We had to hit on the Davis stuff. So here we go. This ought to be a little interesting here. Have the Philadelphia Eagles gotten worse, stayed the same, or have they gotten better since February 9th Super Bowl win? It's funny. I listen to Birds 365 and I hear the guy saying the same shit I say. And yet, you guys get more upset with me. I really don't know how that works. You know, I mean, I kind of get an idea how that works. Have they gotten better? Look at this. Leon thinks they're the same. If not better. How many people believe the Eagles got worse, they got better, or they stayed the same? Rico, worse. It's unknown. Way to have conviction, brother. You're the type of guy I want to row out to sea with. I don't know. Hey, should we row out to sea? Well, I don't know. What's the weather like? It's a little choppy. Hey, man, 5-star. Ain't rolling out to sea with you, brother. Hey, what do you think? This is what men do. Hey, we're rowing out to sea. What's the weather like? Like D-Day. It was raining, and it was harsh seas. Are we still going? General Eisenhower, are we going? We're going. June 6th, bitch. How you doing? Yeah. Hey, wait, I'm going to wait for good weather. Yeah. Hey, let me wait for good weather. Then we'll attack the Germans. All right. Yeah, let me wait for everything to be hunky-dory and everything to be perfect. That's 5-star. There you go. That's right, man. This guy wants a nice room at the Waldorf. This guy wants to have his food delivered to him, his feet rubbed. All before he rows out to sea. How you doing? Jesus, what on to me? Men set a date and they go. We're going. That's how champions act. Here's my take. Eagles got worse. You didn't get better? Let me ask you something. So, Campbell, holy shit. You guys signed a guy like Humpty Dumpty. I mean, this guy fell off this draft wall, and this guy's broken into a million pieces. I mean, this guy's got 2 bad knees, 2 bad shoulders. I mean, shit. The only thing that I'm sure that he's okay with is he's got his marbles around him. I mean, and then you this, what was it? The second round guy, the safety guy you guys signed? I mean, he needs a Tokyo phone book to look cute and Cooper DeJean in the eye. They're going to be great. I get it. Yeah, you know, the drafting and how he won the Super Bowl. Shit, I get it too. Sills, do you like Adoree Jackson? He's a good football player, man. I think of all the trash cans you signed, he ain't one. I had a hard time believing Keely wouldn't beat Isaiah. I never thought Keely Ringo would beat Isaiah Rodgers out. I had him penciled in as a starter. Q just performed exceptionally well. He did. He just performed great. Isaiah Rodgers just got an $8 million a year contract in Minnesota. I mean, you know, he's going up to Minnesota to start in that secondary now. That's how good he played. You know how good he played on the number 1 ranked defense and the number 1 pass defense in the NFL? You know how good he played? So good, Minnesota gave him a contract that's going to pay him $8 million a year. Boy, man, I tell you, I could not wait. I don't know if any of you guys saw that Giannis thing last night. Holy cow. That thing was wild. Those guys say, hey, I'll tell you what. Hey, you want to have drama in the NBA? That's what I'm talking about. That's old school Anthony Mason back in the day. Okay? Man, we got a lot of stuff to talk to our friend Marcus Hayes from the Philadelphia Inquirer. Boy, I know he's busy too. I told you Boomer Esiason's going to be coming on real quick in the next couple days or so. So we're going to get Boomer on. But let's go to our friend right now. And I want to start it off with that before we get into the White House stuff and all. Let's go to Marcus Hayes from the Inquirer. What did you make of that last night with Halliburton's old man and Giannis last night?
You know, I'm not super familiar with it. I saw the clips. I saw it on Twitter. My understanding is that somebody disrespected Giannis after the comeback loss, and he didn't take it very well. My interaction with Giannis has been, I'm not super impressed with him.
Wow.
I'm not taking a side here in this instance, but he's you know, there's no reason for Giannis's brother to be in the NBA. There's no reason for Giannis to, Milwaukee's a weird place. Indianapolis is a weird place. And he's kind of the biggest deal there, you know. And he acts like it. He acts like royalty. And it's funny when he talks about,
Huh.
I believe in being humble in a loss. He's not a very humble guy.
No.
You'll remember, I think it was this time last year, maybe it was 2 years ago, when they lost in the playoffs, and he was like, "Well, it's not about, winning and losing." I'm like, dude, you're a professional athlete. It's only about winning and losing. So I think what we forget sometimes, and you and I have talked about this mostly about the NFL guys, who are even in an even more a more toxic and protective bubble. Um, these are very young men given a lot of privilege and responsibility and protection and very little accountability at a very young age, and that's how they live their lives, their entire lives. When you talk about the pomposity of a guy like Phil Simms or Boomer Esiason after their tenures, and I think you're gonna have Phil on later this week.
Yeah.
I was a New Yorker, and you know, I couldn't stomach Phil on TV because he was Phil Simms.
Yeah.
He'd never been anybody but Phil Simms, and being Phil Simms in New York City with the Giants, I don't blame him. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
he could be a lot worse.
Yeah. Oh,
But,
yeah.
I think you see the result of being a Simms in Chris Simms, who is, you know, very difficult to take sometimes. He's good at his job. He's talented, and so is Phil. My point is, I know we're a long way from Giannis here.
Yeah. Yeah.
My point is, when you give young men a lot of privilege and very little accountability, they're going to act however they want. And again, they could be a lot worse. Giannis isn't a bad guy, but he isn't a very mature guy either.
Okay, so maybe that leads to this. And I don't want to pollute a question here, so I'll ask it as vague as I can. Your takeaway on the visual of the Eagles at the White House to you and what you saw with Barkley there and with Hurts not there.
Well, it wasn't just Hurts. That's the thing. Like, this was a clear message sent by Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith and Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith, who honestly I thought was kind of a pro-Trump guy. I'm not, that's what I'd heard. And maybe Nolan Smith had extenuating circumstances and wanted to be there. I mean, this is a rabbit hole that we probably shouldn't go down because without information. But this was a clear message, I think, both ways, that the Eagles and Jeffrey Lurie, and it's not just Jeffrey Lurie. There are people in the Eagles organization who have say on this decision. The Eagles and Jeffrey Lurie have decided in this administration to recognize that Donald Trump was elected fairly and represents a significant part of the population and a significant part of their fan base. Okay, the Eagles going to the White House both in 2018 and this year isn't necessarily an endorsement or validation of a presidency that I know Jeffrey Lurie doesn't think valid or respectable. It's an opportunity for the people on the team who want to go. And it's his job. His job is to facilitate that. And he was willing to facilitate that in 2018. Trump uninvited them because not enough wanted to go. But the other side is Donald Trump knew Jalen Hurts wasn't coming. Donald Trump knew that the shade would be thrown at him that Jalen Hurts and the other athletes who didn't go threw. And he understands that it's bigger than that. The visit is bigger than that. he and his administration understand that there's no win when they uninvite someone. So anyway, my personal sort of take or takeaway is that Saquon Barkley, who as a college student helped host Colin Kaepernick, who Donald Trump has derided at every point he could. Colin Kaepernick, whose entire stance was to protect and make things better for people like Saquon Barkley, who sacrificed his career for that. And Saquon Barkley, during the 2020 George Floyd protests, was pro-protest and very vocal about, let's get something done. For him to do what Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy, among others, have done, and choose to entertain Donald Trump and choose to be used as a prop by Donald Trump, that was disappointing to me. Now, I don't know what Saquon might have gotten out of this. I don't know if there's some sort of benefit, but Saquon Barkley can probably access whatever golf course he wants to in the United States. But he clearly wanted to be seen with the president, not only playing golf, but sitting at a table afterward at a table filled with MAGA hats, Make America Great Again hats, sitting next to Donald Trump, who was wearing one. So that to me that's an odd behavior. He hasn't explained it. I know he tweeted something, but he didn't explain those choices. And I'm not saying he has to. He can do whatever he wants. But those choices to me are at odds with the Saquon Barkley that had presented himself to that point.
I'm going to be with you, Marcus. I'm going to be as honest as I can possibly be right now, because I had a conversation with my wife about this. And if you look at the majority of the players, they were the black players that didn't want to show up, because the entire offensive line showed up, and Mekhi Becton. My wife heard me say that, and she goes, well, let me ask you something. If Jerome Brown and Michael Irvin said that they were offended and didn't want to go, what would you do? And I said,
those are former teammates of yours.
Yes. And
right.
I said, if they felt that way, I would probably not go, because I love those guys. I had Michael on last Friday. I've known the man 40 years. He's one of my closest friends. And she goes, there's no way you would have went. And so I'll ask you, would you have gone?
No, absolutely not. There literally is no sports journalist in America who has written more negatively about Donald Trump, his administration, the people who in 2015 and 2016 were saying the things that I'm saying about him, have said about him for the past decade. They were saying these things about Donald Trump as Republican candidates. He's gotten worse. He's a worse person now. He's proved him. I will say this: he's very consistent, but he's proved himself to be a horrible person and a terrible American. And the same people that were saying this about him in 15 and 16 to retain their power, people like Rubio and Cruz and folks like that, are bending their knee to him. And they know that what they're saying isn't true. So to answer your question, and this is not, some soapbox I've just stepped up on.
No.
I've been saying this. There's a guy here named Dom Giordano who does a very conservative radio show on 1210, a local AM station here. During the campaign, it might have been during the primary, I was on his show, probably talking about Kaepernick and stuff like that. And I called Donald Trump a liar and a racist. Now, he's an adjudicated racist, and he's a serial liar. The New York Times in 2019 had their whole front page just Donald Trump lies. So to be in the same place with him that I don't have to be, to choose to be there, is something I find just incomprehensible. if I had to go, if it's an assignment, like I wasn't assigned to go to the White House, I actually declined to go to the White House in 2018. I'm still on a email list, but I told them I don't want to go. If someone else wants to go, thank you for the opportunity, my bosses, but I don't want to go. But I was vetted and given a pass. So no, I would never put myself in a situation to entertain Donald Trump. I will say this though. Here's an example of the compromise that I professionally have to make, right? I believe Trump Bedminster in New Jersey hosted the 2016 US Women's Open, and I had to cover it. Part of covering major golf, big golf events, is going to the course and, if you want, playing the course. And I know that sounds like a great perk, and it is. It's wonderful. I got to play Aronimink 2 weeks ago, and I got to play cricket this past week. Those are both going to be places that host events. But if you're a golf writer, it's very, very difficult to understand what you're covering if you aren't really familiar with the course. I mean, I actually won the lottery my first year covering the Masters, so I got to play Augusta National after Adam Scott won the Masters.
That's crazy great.
It's crazy. It's wonderful, but they don't offer that media day access that the other tournaments do. But I got to play Pinehurst #2. I got to play Marion. I got to play Shinnecock. I got to play all these great courses. But it's a valid exercise in that you understand the course better, especially a place like Aronimink or cricket, which have been redesigned over the past, in the last 10 or 12 years. So it's a real opportunity to do that. So here I am talking to Dom Giordano this way while playing Donald Trump's course, Bedminster. And I've told people this for the last 10 years. With the exception of Doral, which is not very well maintained, it is not nearly as great as its reputation.
It used to be.
Well, I don't like the course. Like, I don't think it's a very good course, especially the Blue Monster and the Silver Fox. It's just not good. But I've told people for the last. Sorry about that.
It's all good.
I've told people this for years that if Donald Trump only created golf courses, he'd be a great American. His golf courses are spectacular. I'm gonna have to put you on pause just for a second, okay?
Okay. All right. All good. So we're gonna go on pause here for a second. This is one of the reasons that we get people with opposing and different views here. I love this. And I really did get asked this question by my wife last night. My wife goes like this. She goes, I heard what you said. And my wife actually said, I respect what you said. She goes, but what if Michael Irvin came to you and said, I don't want you to go? Would you go? And I said, no, I wouldn't. And of course, it's somebody that I love. Jerome came to me and said, Dan, I want you to stand with us. I would. Because those are people that I love. I wouldn't like it. And I would make it very clear and tell them that I think we should all be there. But I'll give you guys a story real quick here. So we were at an oak tree during training camp. And I walked in to buy a pair of jeans. This was in Thousand Oaks. And I walked up to the cashier and I bought my jeans, gave him a credit card, left. Michael went up. Guy goes, can I see some ID? 3 forms of ID and a credit card. Mike looked at me and I went, you didn't ask me for that. And I got offended there because I felt insulted for my teammate and my friend. And I said, give me. I turned the pants back in and I said, I don't want to buy anything out of this place. I never went back to an oak tree ever again because of that. All right. So I want to follow up here. Let's bring Marcus back up here. And thanks for hanging in here with us here, Marcus. So do you think there's going to be any collateral damage, in your opinion, to Barkley and how half the Philadelphia Eagle fan base will see him? Do you think he can recover from this?
Honestly, I think.
Or does it matter? Or does it matter?
People are kind of tired of it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? People are kind of tired of the debate. I mean, one of the things that happens every time I write about politics, but especially Trump, is I get this big email response. Not necessarily Twitter, but email. I probably had 250 emails in the last 2.5 days, right?
Over your column.
About this column and about the, addressing it. I'd say like 125, like half of them were like, good job, whatever, whatever. That's a departure. Most people who think good job don't email you. But a lot of people are very sort of outraged at what's happened over the last decade with Trump. About 50 of them, maybe 75, were kind of like, we hate you, we're Trumpers, you're horrible, whatever. And then about, I don't know, what's left, 50? I'd say about 50 of them were like, it does matter, Saquon, what Saquon thinks and says does matter. Or we don't care. Why bother? But I think the overwhelming feeling is Donald Trump has shown himself to be what he is. He's a convicted felon. There is no argument about his legitimacy as a leader. He's in it for the grift. He's in it for the money. If you voted for him, and you know that, all this other stuff is fake. The stuff he's doing is illegal, and you're fine with that. That's what you voted for. And I think people who are sort of anti-Trump, or especially Republicans who feel betrayed by Trump, I think they're just kind of like, all right, it's just one more thing. I'm going to have to live with it. And that was kind of the gist of my column. My column was not like, oh my God, this is something Saquon Barkley will never get over because he lives in liberal Philadelphia. And it wasn't, I hate Saquon Barkley now, and you should too. The column was kind of like, Saquon Barkley did something that I didn't really care about. Jalen Hurts did something I didn't really care about. Steph Curry in 2017 was going to do something I didn't really care about. And the Eagles in 2018 were going to do something I didn't really care about. And most people don't care about this. People forget in 1991, Jesse Jackson told Michael Jordan not to go to George Bush's White House. And Michael Jordan snubbed him and let everybody know he was gambling and playing golf. Yeah. So these things, I mean, Tim Thomas, the goalie for the Bruins, wouldn't visit Obama because he's a libertarian. These things blow over very quickly. Saquon Barkley, Jalen Hurts, for as much as he represents the NFL, and Saquon Barkley as much as he represents, Philadelphia, it's not that big a deal. It's just not that big a deal.
So media people make more of it than like what you're saying here, because for me, like
social media people.
Fair enough. Social media, because got to admit here, right, Marcus? When I'm sitting down at Lincoln Financial, I'm not doing this. Hey, you Republican or you Democrat? Great. Hey, who are you rooting for? I'm going to sit down and I'm going to eat my hamburger, drink my beer, and I'm going to root the Eagles on it.
Well, you're old enough to remember when religion was the thing that people, the thing that held America together. I don't think that's great. I'm not a big religious guy, and I think I have huge problems with all sorts of churches, and my father and grandfather were Baptist preachers. So you're not going to pull the wool over my eyes with the institutions of religion. But it served a purpose of bringing communities together. That's what sports does now, especially football. Because football it's the sport for idiots. It's a very complex sport, but you don't have to understand a lot about it to enjoy it. And you can watch it drunk. And it's easy to bet.
Yes, wait. So it's not quite chess, it's checkers, right?
Well, football, a lot of football fans think baseball is boring, which is hilarious because Football has maybe 7 or 8 significant plays in a 60-minute, 60 minutes of play that takes 3.5 hours. That's the definition of boredom. Every single there's no timeout in baseball really. Especially now with the pitch clock. You get 3 hours of pretty much action. At least, you get 60 minutes of football. You get at least 2 hours of baseball.
Yeah.
Now it's not, it's home runs and it's triples and it's doubles and stealing bases. So football's boring and it's kind of dumb. It's kind of simplistic compared to other sports. I mean, you were good at it. How hard can it be?
Oh my God, that's a last
but no,
one here.
But
this is why I love you.
But football football is what brings America together. It really is.
All right. Well, let me ask you.
Here's the proof. Nothing has been as divisive in America than Colin Kaepernick in the last 25, 30 years.
Absolutely.
Football ratings and football attendance did not move. No matter which way you felt about it, it did not change.
Absolutely. Last one here for you. What was your takeaway on the Shedeur Sanders story?
Well, that's interesting you should say it. So in Philadelphia, we're talking a lot about Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts. Nationally, all they're talking about is Shedeur Sanders. The Eagles not going to the White House is a very Philadelphia thing, especially because Philadelphia, some Eagles not going to the White House and Saquon Barkley embracing it is a very Philadelphia thing, in part because Philadelphia is so, generally liberal. Outside of Philadelphia, it's not that big a deal.
Hey, no one cares.
Shedeur Sanders dropping in the draft is a big deal. I will say this. Before the draft, I don't do a lot of pre-draft stuff. I don't do a lot of research. I don't talk to the people that I normally talk. I talk to a lot of people about before free agency, but I don't.
So you're not a mock draft guy.
Oh no, I'll do a mock draft every once in a while. I'll do it a week before, once all the scuttlebutt's out. And I used to go to the Senior Bowl every year. I mean, when I was covering the team, I would go to the Senior Bowl. I would go, I would go to workouts. I would do everything I could. There's a guy named Joel Bushbaum. Used to work out of an apartment in New York, and every year he would put together a paperback draft guide. And forget about Mel Kiper or whoever. This guy was the best ever. He created the industry. So, but no, I've been a draftnik, a lot in my life. And going to the Senior Bowl, especially when I went, you would get every single coach, assistant coach, and GM at your elbow that week. So. That said, the people that I talk to mostly about free agency because the draft, there's so much out there available with the draft. But what I did hear about the quarterbacks this year is that Shedeur Sanders isn't a very good quarterback. He's a project.
That's what I think.
He's like Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean he can't play, but he doesn't have a big arm. He's not a great athlete. He's not a big guy. So there are a lot of reasons to avoid that type of quarterback. The reason Shedeur Sanders, Deion has, Deion Sanders. He is the greatest marketer since P.T. Barnum.
Tremendous.
He is the only reason. He's the main reason cornerbacks get paid, because he not only did he impact the game, he told everybody, I'm going to impact the game, and he educated people on how he impacts the game. He takes away half the field. He was as good as advertised. But Deion knows that being as good as advertised versus being advertised, they're two very different things.
Correct.
He knows Shedeur is not a very good quarterback at the NFL level now, but he can't say that. And he's a spectacular marketer. He is fearless and he is shameless, which I hope my dad would be. Shedeur Sanders went where he should go. And at the beginning, I was talking about people I talked to. Everybody I talked to thought that it would be a huge mistake for him to be a day one or day two guy, where you could get a player who could help you right now and sign a second contract. Shedeur Sanders might not be a football player in 3 years.
I'm not even sure. I mean, are the Browns going to carry 4 quarterbacks?
Well, that's the thing. If Shedeur Sanders gets cut, he's probably going to be on the Browns practice squad.
Yeah, I mean, nobody keeps 4 QBs on the roster. I mean,
Right.
so I
And you're
mean
not
that
you're not gonna and you're not gonna you're so if he gets cut, if he's the Browns' fourth quarterback, he gets cut. He's going to clear waivers because you already have your practice squad fourth quarterback. You don't
yeah.
want to have to teach Shador Sanders how to be your practice squad fourth quarterback with him missing all the offseason and preseason stuff. So the Browns drafted him. He's a draft and stash. I don't know enough about Shador Sanders to tell you whether or not he has the football IQ, the arm strength, the athleticism, all that sort of stuff to become a backup or a starter one day. But I do know that he is certainly not worth the draft capital of a day one or day two pick to bring him into your building and expect him to be a backup immediately.
So I'm going to leave you with this here. I'm hoping that I one up you here. Now I have played Olympic, I've played Wingfoot,
Mm-hmm.
and I've played Riviera, and I've played Baltusrol, and I've played Cherry Hill. Have you played? I mean, I loved all them courses you play because my ultimate dream is to play all of the U.S. Open golf courses. That's one thing that I've always wanted to do is play all the, I played the PGA National. That was the
Mm-hmm.
75 championship that Nicholas won his final PGA championship. I've played that before as well. NFL holds events on it, but what's your favorite golf course you played on?
Well, I'm going to get
Watch, it's
until
a
you.
Trump. It's a Trump. It's a
Oh no no
Trump
no no
course.
no! I will say Bedminster is great. Like it's one of the 20 best golf courses I play. It's really good. I would love to be a member there just to play the course. Um, like John Smoltz is a member there. He doesn't
Yeah.
live in New Jersey. It's that good a course.
Yeah.
So Mike Davis, the USGA former president, is a member, a charter member at Trump Bedminster. Um, I play Pine Valley, so
Mm.
that's where the. It's not my favorite course. My favorite course I've ever played. There's a place in Scotland called North Berwick. It's like Berwick, PA, but it's pronounced Berwick over there. They have a DP World Tour event in that town, but not at the North Berwick course. It's a resort course that they have the event at. It's so good that the PGA or the DP World Tour players, the Americans, and the commentators go to that tournament a day early to play the public North Berwick course. My buddy and I took a trip to Scotland years ago, and we prepaid for all of our rounds. And on the second to last day, we played North Berwick. Back then, we were walking 18 twice. We were walking 36 holes a day. We canceled our round for the final day at a different place to play North Berwick again twice. That's how good it was. Like $500 wasted, or 500. Like we already spent the money, got it, and then we had to pay more to play North Berwick. So it was like between us, it was like $500, which is a lot in 2010. That's the best golf course and my favorite golf course I've ever played.
Man, that's great to hear. I love to hear that, man, because I always talk to Merrill Reese about because he's a member. I think it's over at Congressional.
No,
And
he's at Marion.
Marion, I'm sorry. Marion, that's right. He's over there at Marion. And I always tell him, I go, how's that first hole look? Because that's supposed to be one of the greatest looking golf holes of all time. And I go, have you ever been into like the locker in there, the champions
Oh, sure.
locker?
Well, that was it was a weird and great experience. When Marion hosted the 2013 U.S. Open, I think
Yeah,
it was,
yeah.
there's a media day, and we played. It was really rainy, but we were given access to their little tin locker room
Yes.
where, and I think I used one of the locker I used because all the lockers are taken. I think I used one of the Bucks lockers, for the family that owns the Phillies.
Yeah.
I think I used one of their lockers, and it was really kind of it was a kind of how the other half lives moment experience. But yeah, it's an interesting place. It's really funny to see it host a U.S. Open because Aronimink, which isn't quite big enough to host a U.S. Open, struggled. Marion has two courses, so it gets by, but the actual facilities that aren't temporary, the permanent facilities, are tiny. So it's interesting, and I cover a lot of golf. I've probably covered 50 to 100 golf tournaments in my career, and it's a big production. Like Augusta National has a permanent media center that is probably the size of the NovaCare.
I've been there. You have
Yeah,
to wear golf shoes. If you're going to walk around, you have to wear golf shoes. Back then, at least, they told us that we couldn't walk around with sneakers. This was like 25 years ago, 20 years ago
right.
that I went, that I had to wear golf shoes around, and I couldn't wear shoes
Well, it's
or they
dangerous.
wouldn't allow you on the course.
It's dangerous. They changed that policy since I've been going, but it's dangerous because the pine straw and the you walk across some of the fairways. It's slippery. It's such a pristine place. It can be like walking on linoleum. Like walking on tile.
Yep, absolutely. Marcus, it is always a great conversation with you. Hit them straight. I appreciate you finding time for me, and thank you very much, my good friend.
All right, thank you, Dan.
You got it. That is Marcus Hayes. I love that. And I'll tell you why we love that. Because what we do here is we give different opinions. We have both sides of the aisle, and we have people that have their opinion, our opinion, and your opinion. That's what this is, man. Fantastic. Okay? Fantastic. I mean, that's what this is about here. I think here in a couple seconds, let me set something up here for a second. I want to make sure I'm clear here on something. My wife asked, again, anytime my wife wants me to come correct on something, she goes, do you believe that Jalen Hurts should have went to the White House? And, I promised myself I wasn't going to go here. But since Marcus had such a strong statement, I didn't think we were really going to go down that lane. I wasn't planning on it. I said yes. And my wife goes, because I've heard you. And listen, my wife will always, and she goes, if Michael Irvin felt offended about something, what would you do? Would you stand with him? And I go, of course I would. You know this. Well, how do you think some of the players on the Eagles feel? And I said, Trump's different. Because I think what Trump brings out in you is it's not about him. It's about your self-beliefs. Do you want other people telling you how to live your life? I think sometimes I fall in that lane. Maybe sometimes it has nothing to do with Donald Trump. It has more to do with me. I don't like people telling me how to think. You know how some of you think he's a scumbag? Well, I don't like you telling me to think and follow along in a lane or in an aisle or in a row that I have to think like you. So it's more about me and how I feel. Trump represents to me, I'm not going to let you tell me how to think. What about his policies? Man, I couldn't name 5 of them. But I know what I could name. Don't tell me how to think. I want to think for myself. I want to pick my friends. I want to pick my issues. And I want to live under my own roof. That's what he represents to me. I'm not talking about character here. I'm talking about how people look and how people that never met him say those things. And so I kind of thought about it, and I said, I couldn't name 5 policies. Okay? And I can pick and choose how I want to live my life. That's what I think that guy truly represents to me. And that's what Marcus looks at him as. And I believe me, those are strong opinions. I love people also. You know why I love Marcus? I love Marcus's strong opinion. I love people with strong opinions. Those are people with conviction. Saquon Barkley has conviction. Jalen Hurts has conviction. No wonder the Eagles are good. No wonder they're good. They're good because The same shit that ran my locker room. Dude, Michael Irvin believed in Louis Farrakhan. I didn't even know who the fuck he was. I started going, I'm like, yeah, that guy's an awful racist. Well, you don't know his teachings. And I looked at him and said, you're right, I don't. Then how could you call him that? And I was like, you're right. You taking a shot at my faith and my beliefs? No, I'm not really. Okay. That's the difference between me and many of you. I'm going to support my teammate. I'm not going to support your beliefs. That's how I see it. I don't have to support your beliefs, but I'm going to support you because you're my teammate. And if I choose to go to the White House or I don't, respect my decision. Okay. That's why my main argument is that you can dictate someone's feelings. You can't dictate someone's feelings. You call me a liberal for saying that. I understand both sides. Prince, you're right. You're right, Prince. You're right. Again, where I come from with this is more, don't tell me how to think, don't tell me how to live. If I'm going to fail, I'm going to fail. I'm not failing following you. I'm not a follower. I'm not a follower. I've never been. And I really don't like followers. Okay? And I agree with him. I don't think this is going to have any impact whatsoever on the Eagles. I think taking the blowtorch to that defense is going to have a little bit more of an impact. What are you doing? Hey, it's funny, man. Who's that big dude they had from Jersey Shore today? From the Housewives to Jersey Shore. The guy Gil. And John McMullen were fucking chopping it up today. I don't know. I think, there's a lot of like, bat signals that need to go out and shit like that. I mean, hey, when it comes to SOS, the Titanic's going down. SOS, the defense is going down. There's more of that. And I heard these guys doing this. Well, I don't know. Really think they're going to do this? They really think they're going to do that? Jeff McMullen's like, you don't really think everybody's going to replace the fucking production of Milton Williams and Josh Sweat? Funny, I'd say that. What happens? Yeah, that's who I thought it was. I thought it was Joey from the Jersey Housewives. I've seen a guy on there. I go, is that the guy from the Jersey Housewives? It's good shit, man. I like him. Mike Gill, star of the Jersey Housewives. Oh, my God. Holy shit. We got to get Big Z in here, man. I guess we got to go there. Fifth-year option. A big JD. JD gets his fifth-year contract extension, and everyone in Philly's like, see, they like him. No, they don't. When you like me, there's a 3-year contract out there. That's when you like me. When you don't like me, you're like, I don't know, here, yeah, All right, Xander, anytime you're ready. By the way, here's Xander. Before I bring him up, here's Xander and John McMullen and the guy from the Jersey Housewives. Here's those guys today doing this. I don't really know if they really have the talent that's really going to step up and, fulfill all the losses. I mean, do you really believe that? John McMullen. No, I can't see it. Everyone, every time I say something, I've been saying it for 700 years since Moses parted the Red Sea. John, man, John will go back and go, hey, remember when I told you Moses was going to part the Red Sea? I fucking predicted that, and I told you he was going to do that. You guys just listen to me. I got you covered. You don't have to listen to read any Beatitudes. Only me and Xander knows what that is in broadcasting. Beatitudes. How you doing? Because he went to a good Catholic church, school like I did. What the hell, man? Hey, dude, don't ever tell me that the Eagles don't have content. Holy shit. Time. Bad signal. Without further ado, holy shit, do we have a lot to hit on here. JD gets his fifth-year option. I'm sure everybody loves it. Me, I think they're telling him, hey, you better show me this year, son. Or guess what? I'm going to get a fat guy in the fourth round next year and move your ass out. Okay? Come on now, kid. You got a big year coming up here. And speaking of a big year, my good friend, Xander Kraus joins us now here.
What's up, Big Sills? How you doing, brother?
Holy cow, man.
Good interview, man. Good
I have
interview
to
with
clean my
Marcus
ears
Hayes.
out after that Marcus Hayes spot.
I thought it was good. I mean, listen, he's
Oh,
an
no, I love
opinionated
that
fella.
side of the aisle.
Yeah, look, I have no problem with people that have opinions, man. It was all good. I feel nothing one way or the other. I thought he was pretty good, clearly opinionated. I get a kick out of it. You know, I say I don't give a shit whether you like the president or hate the president. Right? Look, here's the thing: 80 million voted for him, 80 million voted against him. You see it in the chat right now, right? I mean, come on, it's it's obviously a topic that's polarizing, but all I said was I wanted Jalen to be there with his team. Marcus is on a diatribe about, and my take was political. Good night. My take wasn't political at all, but no, I thought it was overall pretty good segment. And the big news of the day, though, Sills, is you know what, right? Is that the no-holes defense is intact for another 2 years. Another 2 years of the no-holes defense. Sileo wants us to have a great defense without being able to stop the run. Hey, just get rid of the run stopper. You'll still be a great defense.
Hey, do those two guys have a helmet yet? I'm just waiting to see if those guys got a jock strap and a new bag. Have they got their laundry bags yet? I mean, you guys are trying to tell me that. Hey, by the way,
run stopper in this league.
Let me just say this to you, guy. The guy that you signed, holy shit, man. This guy's like an erector set. Bad knees, bad shoulders. Holy shit, man.
Hey, I don't know what's going on with that.
What did he do? Did he serve in the Iraqi war?
Yeah, you. By the way, you missed a bunch of supers. We'll get Joey. I see you, brother. We'll get to all your guys' super chats.
What do I mean? So let me ask you this: fifth-year option, Jordan Davis. Your take is what?
It's good. What are you gonna do? Move on from him and open up your run defense, right? I mean, I think it's a good move. I think it locks him in for 2 years. You know, you have John's take is that he thinks it's a negotiating window. I'll agree with you in that they're clearly not as sold as they are on other players, right? Like, look at what they did with Devontae Smith. That was a very obvious keep sign. When the fifth-year option came up, before it even came up, they worked in a new deal for Devontae Smith, a 3-year extension that worked into the fifth-year option. So they did not do that with Jordan Davis. Maybe that's because there's a negotiating halt or whatever the case might be. But I do agree with you on that. But I think it's a good thing that he's here. And I'm curious to see if you know, what is the goal, Sills? Is the goal for Jordan Davis to play more? Is the goal for him just to simply become or continue to improve as an effective run stopper? Right? I don't know. Like, is the goal ever for him to be a pass rusher? It might not be. At this point, I think
initially it was.
I think initially it definitely was, but now I don't know if it is. You know, it might just be this is what it is. And by the way, it might make the contract negotiation cheaper for the Eagles. Well, we're only asking you to stop the run, versus if they're asking them to, you know, go get the quarterback. That contract negotiation becomes more difficult.
Well, I'm only giving you 3 years, $42 million. We'll get to all the supers. And that comes out to 14. Take it or leave it. I'm not going north of that.
Yeah, I'm all right with that. 14. I think he's going to get a little more than that. Remember, the salary cap, like right now, $10 million is like baby peanuts in the NFL world, which is crazy, but it is, you know, $10 million.
But 20 plays, Xander, man, that's a lot.
Yeah, but it's still, look, you got this year. So after next year, he's going to still have the fifth-year option, all right? At this time next year, the cap's going to be up probably another 25, 30 million. Then you're going to be over $300 million in the cap. Now you're talking about 30, 35, 40. Who knows anything about compounding interest, all right? Where are my finance people? Where are the people that have stock accounts? Compounding interest. It's going to
The cap's
continue to
not
go
the
up
issue.
and explode, Sills.
The cap's not the issue for them in this conversation.
But I'm saying when you're talking about giving them 18
They're
million
paying.
in another 3 years from now, the cap's going to be 350.
Bro, there were a bunch of guys this year that were not cap casualties. They were decision-making decisions
Well,
that they made.
From what it was reported, from the way John spoke about it, from other people we had on our shows as well, it was more about the cash than the cap
Right.
this summer. So
Okay.
it's not going to be like that going forward, though. Jeffrey Lurie said it. He said in public, I only know how to do it one way.
I get it, but when I'm looking at a guy and I want to pay him, be cost efficient on paying him. See, right now at 12-9, picking the 5th year up, he's not a detriment to the team. He's totally not. But he becomes a financial casualty to the team. If you start looking at a guy playing as long and as much as Moro Ajomo does in a football season, that becomes a conversation. I'm paying that guy the same amount of money for a guy that plays the same amount who was a 7th rounder? Holy cow, dude. I mean,
Yeah, but
if I'm going to take it, and maybe I'm not the number 5 ranked team stopping the run. Maybe I'm number 12. Fuck, that's what they're thinking right now. Okay, they're not going to be near as good as they were a year ago, and nobody in their right mind should think that because, and I'm not saying they won't be, but dude, it took all those kids that they had all those years to develop into being something. Dude, having Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell polluted your brains because those guys
didn't pollute my brain. Stop.
Polluted your brain
No, it
because
didn't. It
most
didn't
of the
pollute my
time,
brain at all.
those
My
guys
problem with
don't step in. And for the record, zone defense versus man, you can get James Bradbury to play that. And you did.
I'm over the damn 13 overall pick, though, right? Like, I understand that he didn't do what you wanted at the 13th pick, but you cannot change that. The player is here now. I'm now evaluating him on, is he worth 13 million?
I don't think he's productive.
Is he worth 13 million? You don't think that guy, as a big, huge defense, you play defensive tackle. Having a big dude like that with that athleticism, come on, man, that's a good thing to have on your team.
I'll give him 13, but after that, we're talking about a guy who's overpaid.
Not at 13 million, I don't think so.
I said after that, we're talking about a guy who will be overpaid.
Well, you're 2 years away from that. 3 years away from that.
That's why it's important. Again, I don't have a problem with the 5th year. And the reason they gave him a 5th year instead of giving him a 3-year, they don't believe it. They don't believe it either. Or they would have. Dude, one thing the Eagles are very proactive on is their young players and giving extensions. I mean, you're cutting loose.
Well, I agreed with you on that. I agree with you on that. And that's where I think, look, I think the true part of this conversation is you're right in that after 13 million, I think is where the conversation gets tough. And it might even get tough inside the Eagles organization. And that's probably why you haven't seen the extension done yet, because they might say Jordan's definitely worth 13 million, right? We want to keep Jordan Davis here.
I think he is.
But what is the limit? When we build with Jalen Carter, with Quinyon, with Cooper, with all of the other pieces. Remember, we still got the top paid offense. Remember, the offensive line's under contract. What does that look like? What is our limit on that player? Every player's got a limit, right? I mean, there's a limit on every player. So
I actually like his role. I like the role he's in. Okay. But the Eagles are counting nickels and dimes right now. They're not even looking at that cap. They're looking at Jalen Carter and some other folks that they have on that team that potentially they want to address. Let me ask you something here on this. Don't you agree? Nakobe Dean missing the entire postseason. They can win without him.
Nakobe's different for me than Jordan. I mean, Nakobe's a plug-and-play player.
No, that right there made them realize, fuck, we can win with another dude like Oren Burks or get another guy in there like Trotter. So I would say this. If Jordan Davis doesn't have an excellent year, and I mean his best year, in my opinion, the clock is ticking on him.
But the only way
his
to know
time here in Philly.
How are you going to know you can stop the run when he's gone?
Draft another guy.
We can live in fairy tale land that we're going to draft this 400-pound dude in the future and he's going to take up his place. As it stands right now, there is nobody on the Philadelphia Eagles that can do what he does. Nobody.
Do you know you have anybody on the roster that can fill the roles of Milton Williams and Josh
You
Sweat?
don't. But why? So you want to make another hole with Jordan Davis?
Okay. Well, wait a minute. You got rid of the two better ball players.
Well, no, they were the different ball players that were dictated. Listen, I agree that Milton Williams was better than Jordan Davis, but were you going to pay him $28 million, $27 million, whatever, really?
I'm looking at importance on a team. Davis was probably, like I said, we did this exercise
I don't
yesterday.
know. He might be more important than you're leading on. You think Milton was more important on that D line than Jordan Davis was?
Let's see here. The contract non-extension and them giving him the 5th year instead of giving him a 3-year contract. Like I said, most people on that side of the ball don't get second contracts. I don't know, man. I don't look at it as positive.
I think Milton's going to get. I
look at it as a due year for him. And again, here it is. Here's another year of trying to make the comment for him saying, hey, you got to show me more, son.
I don't think it's unfair to say you want to see more from him. I'm just saying, I think the guy is worth keeping in Philadelphia. I don't think it
For
makes
2 years, yeah.
Again, people love to dissect the money. I get it. It does matter. I understand. We're all in it. We're all fans. We all dissect. How can you build the best roster?
It's part of building a team.
But if you took the money out of it, Jordan Davis is not a guy you want to move on.
You can't take the money out of building a team.
I understand that, but the $13 million isn't crazy.
No.
And even $18 million is not crazy when you look at what Milton Williams just made. He's going to get exposed this year, so
it plays 4 different multiple positions. There is more value there with him, and I'm not getting, again, the 26, holy piss, I get it. And they have a ton of money in New England because they stink. I get it. But Milton Williams can play multiple positions.
Yeah, but you're all right. Here's a better
question. You got a guy who plays one and plays limited role in that one.
Here's my question for you. If you say Milton Williams or Jordan Davis, who do you take?
Milton Williams, he's a better
Okay, now hear me out. Milton Williams at $27 million or Jordan Davis at $15 million. Now who do you take?
Can I say neither?
Yes, you can. I'm taking Jordan in that scenario. I think the value for the player is more worth it to the Eagles for him at 15, even 16. I'd go up to 17 probably with him tops. I think that's heavy. I think that's a big payday for him. And you're being generous and you're almost paying him more for some of the vanity stuff with the, I hear he's a great leader. I hear, the Georgia guys love him. I know most don't give a shit about that, but we do have a lot of Georgia boys on the team, and football, when you're a team, is about more than just good players, right? You got to have a good locker room. You got to be bought in. You got to have a camaraderie to some level. So I think that's a part of it, but I think Jordan's worth it. I like Jordan.
Hey, Bob, are you under the impression that Vince Wilfork was highly paid in New England? If you are, you're not thinking correctly. All right. So let me go here. Let me ask you a couple questions here, Junior.
He's saying percentage of the cap.
Oh.
It's actually
for the record, Jordan Davis is not Vince Wilfork.
No, I know, but to be fair, 4.4%, even if you go to 6%. Bob, what would he be making if it was 6%, brother? 15, 16 million?
Yeah, that's where I got him, 14.
Yeah. If it was 6% on the pay raise, does
17,
that get him to 16 million?
16.5, that's where he'd be.
Probably somewhere in there.
Yeah. Let's see what he does this year.
Yeah, listen, I think it was the right move to pick it up. Where I will say you're correct is it's very clear they're not as sold on this. Maybe they're sold on him, but the complex pit, they're not just going to the top of the market and paying them like they're going to with Carter, like they did with Smitty, like they did with a lot of these guys. So
Xander, they like him.
Yeah, they like him. How much? That's the next question, right? That's where we are in the topic.
That's right. All right, here's another one for you. I tell you what, I watched the guy from the Jersey Housewives today, and then I was talking, and then by the way, he's very good. He's very good. And John, and funny man, I'll tell you, we say I gotta be the delivery thing. Yeah. So I'm gonna ask you here. Have the Eagles since February 9th, have they gotten better, stayed the same, Or have they gotten worse?
Well, on paper, they got worse. No doubt. You lost too many players, and let's be real, let's call a spade a spade. You replace those players with draft picks. By their nature, draft picks are unproven commodities.
And free agents.
And free agents who are largely, let's be real, underwhelming to say the least. They didn't go out there and sign anybody that was that impressive. So I think you're worse on paper, but that doesn't mean that the upside might not be bigger.
No.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. I will admit it's a little pie in the sky to say you're going to be better than you were last year. You were the best defense in football. I mean, by a wide margin. So my question is less about can we get the 1 overall or be that again. It's more about can we get to the level we need to be to compete for a Super Bowl championship? That is my question on the defense this year. You're right to point out we don't know what Campbell's going to be. We don't know what Ty Robinson's going to be. We don't know what Ringo or Sidney or Makuba. You're right to point that out. Can they be competent enough to get the team back to where it's a good enough defense to compete for a Super Bowl? That is my question. My estimation is that they will.
For me, you're right. On April 30th, there's not a chance in hell I could sit here and say you're worse. I just think, and how I would phrase it would be, there's more question marks right now with more questionable players than you had questionable players a year ago. Because we can make
that again?
What, you're more confident in Moro Ojomo than you were Milton Williams? We all knew Milton was good.
Wait a second. Last year at this time, I was barely doing content, but when I started doing content, and John all agreed we had the worst linebacking core in the NFL.
Correct.
We had no clue what Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell were going to be. We had a Vontae Maddox and a James Bradbury who came off a brutal season.
All right.
So last year we had a lot of questions. I'm not saying that there's not a lot of questions this year, but last year at this time, bro, we thought that we were hoping to get the top 15, top 20. Remember?
Let's take a look at that. Hold on here. Are you confident in your 2 edge rushers?
This is going to sound crazy, but I might be more confident right now in Jalix Hunt than I am in Nolan Smith. And I know Jalix did not do a lot. He had 1.5 sacks in the season, but
than you were a year ago.
Dude looks like an edge rusher to me. I was watching some of his tape late in the year.
I'm starting to warm to him even more. But do you like
and
your
he's going to fill out a little bit more? Remember, he was playing safety a little bit ago. So, but overall, to answer your question, I'm not as confident in the edge rushers coming in as I was last year.
So wait, are you more confident in your edge rushers right now than you were a year ago?
No.
Okay.
Last year you had Sweat, Brandon Graham still. Nolan was a project or a projection last year at this time, but you still had some guys coming back.
Are you more confident in Moro Ojomo than you were Milton Williams at this time?
I'm honestly going to say for me, it's pretty similar. I mean, probably Milton with a slight advantage, but Milton didn't really have a great breakout year until last year.
He was the 4th rated interior defensive tackle, according to now. Whatever you think of PFF.
Yeah, but how many snaps did he play? Remember, we had Fletcher Cox.
Man, I've been saying for 3 years I thought the kid was a good ball player and that he was. I liked him a lot more. I mean, I'm not hating on Moro Ojomo. I think the kid for a 7th rounder, dude. I think the guy has really played well. He did a lot of reps a year ago. So again, I don't think your take's crazy, but I had more a year ago. I have more now than I did with Milton Williams. How about that offside linebacker outside of Bond? What are you going to do there if Dean's not ready? Are you confident? You're comfortable in Trotter Jr. to pick up the slack for Burks and for Dean?
I'm more confident than I was last year, but that doesn't mean I'm confident. All right.
So how about your ass?
No, I'm more confident than last year, though. Okay. I mean, think about it. Last year we had coming into camp, Devin White was a linebacker that we thought was going to be our starting middle linebacker.
Okay. For me, I have just as many questions as I have right now with that other linebacker because I don't believe Trotter is going to beat out the kid from Georgia.
Who are we projecting to go next to Devin White at this time last year? Not this time, but like before the season.
I thought it was Devin White and
Dean. Was it Dean?
Dean. Devin White.
Yeah, we were projecting Dean.
Those
Devin
two.
was trash. Dean, well, hey, remember though, we still had a lot of questions on Dean coming in last year, man.
Of course. That's
Remember
why
the
I'm
injury?
saying just as many. Okay.
Remember how many snaps he played his first 2 years?
I got it. Here, how about this? Were you more comfortable with drafting the rookie, or were you more comfortable with Quinyon Mitchell or James Bradbury? A year ago, you were talking Bradbury, and then you drafted Q. Now you have Keely Ringo. So you basically have the same question mark at one corner. You don't have anything at that corner right now where you're
You have bigger questions at the corner this year than last year, probably.
How about that strong safety taking over for CJ?
Probably advantage last year there because you knew CJ was coming back. So I don't know what the safety is going to be this year. Is it going to be Makuba?
I don't know how Vic's going to use him. So here for me,
I'm giving Makuba the advantage. I'm not sold on Sidney Brown.
Okay, so that's a question here. So here's for me. I have your two edge rushers. 1, 2. I have Moro Jomo, not by a ton, but I felt better with Milton. One of your linebackers is a question mark. Your corner and your safety. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, listen, I want everyone to follow along with what I'm going to say here. I'm not saying you can't have guys step in. I'm saying right now we're going to have to wait and see if they do step in.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's just common sense.
Yep, I agree. That's common sense.
Okay, and with the way that they've drafted, see what's happened here. Don't you think people are giving way too much credit to Howie instead of just seeing the process play itself out?
Well,
I mean, to give him the credit here, I mean, let's be candid here. I mean, we're debating Jordan Davis.
Yeah, but let me ask you this. At what point does somebody earn, at least to some extent, a benefit of the doubt? Doesn't have to be full confidence, but if you do look at the team, remember, Eagles fans have watched Howie go from two different highest paid quarterbacks in the league and have a Super Bowl roster with both of them in a pretty short period of time. So I'm not saying you're wrong. You're not wrong. Like, hey, we are giving the benefit of the doubt to Howie, but I think in a large way, he's earned it. He's proven that we should be able to give him it. Maybe we're giving him too much. That's fair. But I think he's earned it to some extent.
I think every year is different than the way I look at team building because of free agency and the amount of free agents you have every year. You don't have the latitude, no matter who it is, to sit there and think that, hey, the New England Patriots went on a 20-year run because of the quarterback they had in the building and because of the coach they had in picking defensive personnel. That ran out too. Okay? That ran out too. You had a 20-year run in New England. It's the greatest dynasty of all time in pro football. There's no getting around. Every year Brady was a Patriot. Every other year they went to the Super Bowl.
Dare I say Nick Sirianni, Jalen loading? Or wait, am I not allowed to say that anymore because I wanted Hurts to go? Am I not allowed to say that anymore? That Jalen is going to be the leader of the Dynasty Eagles.
Hey, I happen to agree with Marcus. I happen to agree with Angelo, and I happen to agree with you, and I happen to agree with Howard. That thing doesn't matter anymore. It's over with. We're moving on to mini camps and training camps now.
Right. I'm done.
I think that thing was a story of the moment, and it was a bad look for whomever you thought it was a bad look for. Okay, now
or not a bad look, whatever you think. Again, a lot of people have different opinions on it. Yeah.
I'm going to ask you. You see, I'm going to show you something here, Xander. See, Xander Krause is doing a very good job on Birds 365, and it's funny. I happen to go over and check out the WIP. I happen to check out the WIP website, and there was a question there. Okay, and there was a question there. John Morgan just sent me a text, and it said, "Is this a prove it year for Jalen Hurts?" And I'm going to say this to you guys. Unfortunately, they didn't expand the question. Here's the question to you, young man. It's not a prove it year to Hurts, but do you think Hurts this is a prove-it year that he could carry that football team on his back the same way Barkley carried that football team on his back all the way through to Santa Clara. He's 22 was the closest we've seen him carry it all the way through.
Yeah. Well, he
No
carried
doubt.
the team on his back in 22. Pretty good.
Okay. Well, still, silver places don't count in that city.
I understand that, but when you get that close, you can at least take some solace knowing that, you know.
I happen to think that because last year he didn't. Because you keep saying
he didn't, but he didn't have to, right? It wasn't that he failed at it. It's that the circumstances were they did have Saquon, so he didn't have to at all. He wasn't asked to.
Right. He wasn't the MVP of the team. The running back was.
Yes, I agree with that.
Okay.
Last year, for sure.
Right. Well, 22 was not as dominant as 24's team. 24's team was dominant.
Well, what roster was better? Definitely 24.
Oh, I don't. Well, let's see. You have a guy that's on there.
You have a guy on there. Queasy Watkins in that.
You have a guy on there that's Hassan Reddick.
Queasy Watkins.
You had 4 guys with 10
defense
sacks.
Was better last year. Don't go individual.
Your secondary was.
The defense. No, the defense was. The defense's numbers were way
second.
better last year.
They finished second overall.
Yeah, but I'm talking about points per game and yards per game. The defense cleared 22 by a wide margin. I'd have to look up exactly what it was, but I think the yards per game for the 22 team was like over 200.
The defensive tackle, had 11 sacks. The 4 ends.
Yeah, but you're going individual. What does that have to do with it?
We're talking. That's how you build a football team, is getting individual talent to play as a unit.
Oh, the individual talent combines to make what? A team.
Bro, that talent that you had in 24 is not near the talent you had in 91, but you were better as a unit. I'm not saying you were. I'm talking about you had better talent.
22, the unit
was
better
talent. 91. There's not a guy on the planet that would say that 2024's talent was better than the 91 gangrene talent. You didn't have a linebacker in that building. That was Seth. You didn't have a defensive tackle. Well, you did. You had Carter, but you had no one near Reggie. You had no one near Eric Allen as a cover corner.
I'm not arguing that.
Okay, so again, doesn't Jalen have to have the best year of his career if you want to be truly a team that goes back and wins the Super Bowl? Or do you think he can just be what he did a year ago with a lesser defense? How about this? To compromise for some of you, because you get buttered over it, a questionable defense until we find out what they are. There, it makes you feel better.
All right, well, ready.
Here's the reach around.
I just made a take, so let me just give you the context of it. All right. 22, ready? These are the differences. 22, you gave up 20 points per game. Last year, you gave up 16. 22, you gave up 301 yards per game. Last year, 270. Sacks is the one metric you won in 22. 70 sacks versus 55 last year. You had more takeaways last year. Your third down defense was top 5 last year. In 22, it was 14th overall. Red zone defense was 23rd in 22. It was top 5 last year. Those are 2 key metrics.
You had 55 sacks last year?
That might include, yeah.
That's pretty good, man. That's a pretty good number for nobody being a superstar out there.
Yeah, no double-digit guy.
That's a pretty good number there. So, again, don't you think?
Well, yeah, I can answer the Hurts question. I know.
Do you think he has to play the best of his career this coming season than what he's played in any year of his career? Now, again, if Barkley goes on some sort of psychotic run again, they're going to do the same exact shit.
Right.
And it'll look the same. Hey, I just came up with a topic for you. Who has to play enormous next year for the Eagles to win the Super Bowl? Hurts or Barkley?
Well, it's funny you brought this up because I actually talked about this a little bit this morning on Xander Time, and I said, similarly to how defensive coordinators are watching the Jaden Daniels tape that they have now, and they're going to adjust and do things differently to stop him, just like they did to Stroud. They're also doing the same thing to the Eagles offense, which means they're probably going to do a better effort or have a better effort this year to slow down and stop Saquon Barkley. And I think that's where you're right here, where at some point in the next year, 2 years, 3 years, Jalen is certainly going to have a bigger responsibility of leading the offense. I'm not saying you didn't have a big one last year, a bigger role, right? That would be a better word. A bigger role in doing it. You're not going to be able to get by with 2,900 passing yards, I think, at some point. So I think it's fair. Yeah, I think Jalen's got to have a big year this year. But where I push back is it's not a prove it year because he's already proven it to me. Like, I don't think you win the Super Bowl last year if Jalen wasn't great. As good as Saquon was, right? If Jalen wasn't good when he needed to be last year, would we have won the Super Bowl?
Jalen's importance to that football team a year ago was twofold for me. He was important in the run game, and the other part was when he didn't turn the ball over. And after that, he was efficient, and he was good enough on what they needed in the passing game for 17 weeks. When the team started that dynamic of trying to stop Barkley in the NFC and the Super Bowl, that's when he was able to have, believe me, folks, the reason that those passing lanes and all that other shit were wide open, Kansas City's number one priority, Spagnuolo said it, wasn't stopping Hurts, it was stopping Barkley. So what did they do? They crowded the line of scrimmage. This guy was throwing like he was in the Big 12. There were windows wide open. Hey, that's the beauty of the offense when you're running people over. Will that same dynamic work for 17 weeks? Here's how I would try to stop the Eagles coming up this year. And I don't know a lot of teams have the personnel. See, I heard Mike Gill say this. Have the Commanders.
Yeah, I heard that too.
Close the gap on the Eagles. My question would be, not the Commanders. Has the NFC closed the gap to where you feel where you have enough personnel to slow down that O-line? And I still look at it like this. I think they closed the gap, but I think that gap was so wide that you're still monumental players away from catching that team. Now, that O-line, in my opinion, is the catalyst to this whole the only reason that you have a shot at going back to the Super Bowl, it's not Hurts, it's not Barkley, it's those 5 dudes. Those 5 dudes are the key to this whole thing, and they are dynamic. There's no better O-line in football that knows how to win,
I agree.
that knows how to run people over, and knows how to control football games, and which is most important, time of possession. If that dynamic somehow gets taken off, I'm going to do everything in my power to stop Barkley. Jalen may win tons of games this year, but for me, it's all about making Jalen Hurts beat me, not Barkley. Barkley can't beat me. He's proven once he does beat me, they win.
Exactly. So, I mean, look, what's a better sword to die on if you're an opposing defense, right? What Spags did in the Super Bowl, or what the Eagles did all year, right? I think you're right. People are gonna choose.
I'm gonna die on Spags' mentality of let that guy do that for 17 weeks. I saw him do that in 22. I saw him try to do that in 23, and he had 15 interceptions coming off that because what you said, teams are they're gonna come back. And what did they do, Xander? In 23, they adapted. So they're going to do the same thing they did in 23 to Hurts to Barkley this year. It's going to have to be reliant on Jalen and Kevin Patullo. Now, I would ask you this, though.
Here's the one thing, though.
How are you going to elevate the game when you're talking about taking one of the weapons out of the huddle in the tight end?
Well, I don't think he's the catalyst, but I hear you. Here's my question, though, on Saquon. Here's the question on Saquon. John always tells me, everybody knew Emmitt Smith was running the ball. I mean, they could stop it, and I'm not saying Saquon's Emmitt, but I will say Saquon with that offensive line is pretty damn close.
It looks like but
right.
What was the one thing that they had the number one defense in the NFL on the other side of the field?
Yeah, that was a big thing. I mean, that was look. I said that this morning. It's one thing to talk about the players you lost. It's another thing to recreate the magic of last year, where the complementary nature of the football team was perfect. Think about it. The defense, even intra-defense, the secondary, the linebackers, and the defensive line, and then the way that complemented the offense, special team, everything put together like a perfect puzzle last year. That's going to be a hard thing to recreate, even if you did get all the talent you needed to make up for it. So that's going to be a hard thing to recreate. As far as the NFC goes, I think there's a couple really good contenders this year, better than last year. I think the Rams are going to be maybe a top team in the NFC this year. I like that team, man, and I am not out on Matthew Stafford just yet. That guy is one of the best throwers of the football. What do you got?
I'm going to make you do something on the fly here. Let me give you a couple seconds here. I wrote down my post-Big Sills, my post-draft top 10 NFL teams. Post-draft and free agency. By the way, I think people are forgetting one more important date. You know what the next important date is? Cap Casualty Day, which means there's going to be would we not agree for some reason that Dallas Goedert is a financial casualty potentially to this roster? Right, Xander?
Goddard?
There's going to be other Goddards out there at other positions that are going to be cap casualties on other teams who are not as good with the cap as the Eagles are.
Probably,
so there's going to be potential to find somebody.
June 1, you mean? Like you're talking post June 1, you're talking?
Post June 1. Teams have to get to 90 for training camp for July. And so there's going to be another date out there where you're going to go to a team and go, what are you going to do? And you're going to be able to find a guy. There's going to be some cap. If Dallas Goedert's going to be a June 1 cap casualty, the Eagles aren't alone. There's going to be other teams who don't do a good job. I'll tell you this, don't be shocked if you see more casualties coming out of San Francisco and what that team's got to deal with.
I'm starting to think, hey, maybe Goddard's back, Sills. He was smiling up there with the team the other day when they were all together. Again, that doesn't mean much. He was smiling
because his agent's telling me, you see the guy what he got in San Francisco?
Yeah, and if I'm Howie, I'm saying, well, you ain't that guy, brother.
He's not
you ain't that guy. So don't even look. Don't even take a sniff of that. All right. 14, take it or leave it. Take it or leave it, guy.
He's not George Kittle.
I think he could be back. I think Goddard could be back.
We'll get all of our supers, I promise you.
We got a lot of them. We got to rip through some of them. It's gonna be
okay. We're gonna get to them right after this. Here
on Super Chat Day coming.
Number 10. This is the post-draft Big Sales top 10.
All right. Should I try and make one on the fly? I don't know if I can.
Pick one on the fly here.
All right. I'll see if I can do it.
The only reason I'm putting the Chargers down here at 10 is because I think their defense is better than the Bengals. And the Bengals have to show me that they're better than 28th. Okay? I think the Chargers with Derwin James and them dudes on that side of the ball, I think they're a good football team, and I think they're better, and I got them ranked number 10. And I love Jim Harbaugh, and I think they're rolling in the right direction. I don't know how high that means, but I do think I got them at number 10.
Real quick, you're doing top best rosters or you think best teams? I guess it's the same thing.
Best teams post-draft.
Okay.
Number 9. Boy, I'll tell you, man. The more and more I look at the Buccaneer roster, the more and more I like it. I think the Buccaneers are a dark horse team to go a long way this season. I got to see a couple guys, especially they got to stay healthy at the wide receiver spot. The quarterback's got to continue to evolve. They want to see a little more at a tight end position. But, boy, I'll tell you something, man. A little bit at the corners, too. But I love Antonio Winfield. I got the Bucs sitting at 9. This may be too low, but I got the Rams at 8. Here's my deal with the Rams. Do I think they got a really good roster? They may have the second best, third, fourth best roster in the entire NFC. But here's the one thing that still bugs me about the Rams. And they did better in the playoff game against the Eagles. You know the one thing that bugs me about them? When the Eagles felt like being physical, they beat the fuck out of them. They got to be a little more physical for me. If you want to beat the Eagles up, you can't box the Eagles. You got to fight the Eagles. And I think they try boxing you because that offense is really kind of like, it's a finesse offense. It's not a power offense.
Yeah, right.
The Eagles are a powerful team on both sides of the ball. You can't get out there and start jabbing with the Eagles, they're going to fucking knock you out. You know what you'll do? Same thing happened in the Eagle-Ram game in the regular season. What happened? Rams came out, they were jabbing, got all the way down to the 10, and what happened? Eagles threw a haymaker, shut them up. It was over. Now, they got better in the playoff game because they knew they were going to be in a fist fight, and they played them like it was a fist fight. But they got to play like that all the time. Xander, 23, the Eagles were a finesse team a little bit offensively, and they got pushed around. They came back the next year and went, we're going to go back to bully ball. I think the Rams got to be more of a bully team.
I agree. Will they be able to be? That's the question.
That's right. And I want to see that.
I don't know if they can be.
I mean, they're
the
very
Buttercup's out in LA. I don't know about that. So,
hey, they're very undersized up front, right? And I like Verse. So number 7, this is a weird team for me. It's the Packers. They look like they have all the pieces. The quarterback looks good. They added another wideout, Luther Burden, the kid from Missouri. They got the head coach. They added some pieces on defense. It's time to put it together here, man. They got Josh Jacobs, who ran the ball for 1,600 yards. But you know what happened to them? They don't have enough depth. They got banged up at certain positions. How many weeks did we do this about the Packers, Andrew? Wow, they look really good. They got a couple guys hurt. Holy shit, man. They're getting worked. Then boom, they're back up. They need to improve the depth on that team. Numbers 5. I got the Commanders here.
Ooh, that's high. All right.
I got the Commanders at 5, and I'll tell you where I'm going with this. If I were them, because teams are going to be looking to evolve around what Jaden Daniels does, what's the number one thing you do to Jaden Daniels and the Commanders this year? Every single time that guy is out in space, I am going to fuck him up. I'm going to put a hat on him. And I'm going to make that guy, and let's see by the time, like Jaden Daniels in week 2, Jaden Daniels in week 12. Are you going to be the same guy? Because you're going to take a beating this year if you don't improve that run game. They have got to improve the 2 areas, Xander, run defense and run offense. If they improve that, you don't have to worry about him taking a step back because the roster improved. That's their Achilles. Stop the run, and they got to be more effective in running the football. Number 4, the Lions have to show me they know how to win. And I'm not talking regular season 14 and whatever it was. You got to win the games. Here's the difference between the Lions and the Eagles. The Eagles win those games. The Lions don't. Lost to an NFC title game and got worked by the Commanders. I mean, bro, you can't, if you call yourself a really good roster, you can't lose games like that. Plus, you had a 10-point lead against the 49ers and you shit the bed in that. You turned around and couldn't play with pressure the following year and you laid an egg. Now, look, you go, well, Sills, what about the injuries? Hey, welcome to the NFL. That's part of the attrition, and that's what makes Philly. Hey, I'll tell you what, one thing I'll never bring up again about the Eagles, I'll never bring this up about them ever again. Hey, you got to play your guys in preseason football. That shit's over with.
Yeah, I agree. Too healthy the last couple of years.
Too healthy the last 4 years.
4 years, yeah, I agree.
Okay. I got the Chiefs at 3. Mahomes keeps you relevant. Their O-line, in my opinion, has huge question marks. Their running game. Pacheco, where is he? They need something else. I know they've been talking to some running backs on trying to bring guys in. They were even talking about trying to trade up as high as they could to potentially get that Gentry kid. Kansas City needs a running attack because as Mahomes gets older, what helped Elway win a Super Bowl? Terrell Davis. They've got to get a running game going. And I'll tell you something else that I saw that I was a little disappointed on. Boy, I'll tell you something. That pass rush Kansas City doesn't have. They didn't have a pass rush in that football game against Jalen Hurts. He sat back in that pocket. like he was playing 7-on-7 in practice. He looked like one of those games that guy Elliott Spitzer, Shore Parks, talking about Jalen not hitting the ball at the ground or something. I mean, that was just pitch and catch. Number 2, I got a problem with the Bills, but here, Bills are getting better. I being the general manager is improving that roster, and they're improving the players. And by the way, Cook, the running back, I'm starting to love more. They're getting more offensive people around them. But here's the problem that you have still with the Bills. And all these teams have a problem that the Eagles don't. The Eagles have one thing that supersedes them over all the rest of these teams. The Bills are going to go like this. Here's my question about Josh Allen. Can you win 4 games in a row when it matters the most? You can't rely on anybody else. You don't have anybody else like the Eagles have. And I'm not saying that to dismiss Jalen in any way or anybody. But Josh Allen, if he plays B+, they lose. If he plays A-, they lose. Jalen, like you said, he could have 29-03, and they blow a team up by 25 points. Here's the one thing, and I got the Eagles one. And here's the one thing the Eagles have that no other team in the league has. Their starting quarterback doesn't have to be exceptional week in and week out. I'm not saying he has to be a turnover machine like he was when they were 2-2, but he doesn't have to be stupid great, which is an asset because of the way the team has been built, the way they've evaluated. The Eagles are where they are because of an organizational way of how they go about things. The coaching staff, the roster, the construction of the roster, how they build it. Do you know that I would say this to you? If Jalen Hurts got hurt, I still think that Eagle team would win 10 games just because of Barkley and because of the way that they're built. If the Bills lose Allen, they win 2. Tops. The Eagles are the only team that could sustain an injury at the quarterback position and still win 10. There's no team you think the Chargers could win 10 games without Herbert, or you think that the Packers could go anywhere without Jordan Love? Hey, what do you think if the Chiefs lost Mahomes, how many games do you think they win? 5?
Not very many. Yeah, I hear you on that front. I mean, the Eagles have the best roster, so it's, and they're a running team, which obviously, is the one. There's not many teams in the league that are built like that right now. So I hear what you're saying on that front. This is tough for me to make top 10 here. All right, go ahead. You done?
And so here's my 10. I got Chargers 10. I got the Bucks 9. I got the Rams 8. I got the Packers 7. I've got the Ravens 6. And the Ravens, my problem. The Ravens do a great job of drafting. And again, I think they need – this is going to sound crazy, Xander. I think they need better postseason coaching. You can't have the guy throw the ball 38 times one year against Mahomes, and then a year before that, 41 times.
Yeah, I agree.
You just can't do that.
I agree.
You're not going to beat Kansas City in a pitch and catch match because you'll lose that with them guys. So I think they need better postseason. So 6, I got the Ravens. 5, I've got the Commanders. 4, I've got the Lions. 3, I've got the Chiefs. 2, I got the Bills. And 1, I got the Eagles. Those are my top 10 teams. Post-draft. Chargers, Bucks, Rams, Packers, Ravens at 6, Commanders at 5, Lions 4, Chiefs 3, Bills 2, Eagles 1.
All right, let me try and do mine. I think that's a pretty good list, by the way. I think it's tough to do. I'm doing it on the fly, so everybody, if I miss a team, just drop it down below. I'm kind of doing this.
Don't worry, drop 3 million fucking hate questions on his ass. It'll be all right. He'll take care of it.
All right. 1, I got the Eagles. Obviously, they're Super Bowl champs. I thought they did well in the draft in terms of defensive player. Give me the Birds. Number 2, I'm a little higher on the Ravens in terms of a roster than you are. I thought they had 2. I like the Malachi Starks pick for them. They picked up Mike Green. Again, I'm not here to litigate whether he's a good person or not, but the guy can play football. I think the Ravens are pretty good. but I'm going to go Bills there because I think the Bills are pretty good too, obviously, and they added some good pieces in the draft as well. Give me the Bills 2. Give me the Chiefs 3. Give me the Ravens 4. Give me the Rams 5. Am I missing somebody? That feels high.
Lions.
No, I got the Rams above the Lions this year.
Okay.
Give me the Rams 5, the Lions 6.
Okay.
Give me the Commanders 7.
Okay.
Shit, man. Texans 8.
Texans. Okay.
I think they did pretty well. They added a couple
Well,
receivers. I don't know how many receivers they need down there, but they drafted
Hey.
2 more.
They got a great front office.
Yeah, they have a good front office. Shit, I feel like I'm so NFC heavy because now I want to go Packers. And here's a crazy one that I want to go. I want to go Bears.
Bears at 9.
Dude, the Bears picked up Colston Loveland, Luther Burden, and Ozzie Trapillo in round 2, who was a good tackle in the draft. Boston College kid.
You think there's too many new faces?
It's a lot of new faces, but remember, they still got Roma Dunze. They got, what's that one? The Moore. They got, obviously, Caleb's returning. They bolstered the offensive line. I think the Bears are actually a sleeper team to finally maybe be okay, but I feel like putting them top 10 is still kind of egregious. There's a couple good honorable mentions in here, too. Where
Here's what you have right now. 1, you got Eagles 1, you got Bills 2, you got Chiefs 3, you got Rams 4, you got Ravens 5, you got Lions 6, you've got Commanders 7, you got Texans 8, you got Bears 9. Who do you got at 10?
No, not Bears 9. Give me Packers 9.
Packers 9.
Packers 9, and I might dip into your list and go Chargers at 10.
Okay.
And then I'd put Bears as an honorable mention at 11, and I would put the Broncos as an honorable mention. I think they have some decent pieces over there. And that's probably it. I feel like I'm leaving a team out.
Well, what about because there's no mention of Dallas or the 49ers?
I think the Dallas or 49ers are kind of wild cards. They have a chance to be in that top 10, but I think everybody's kind of collectively not out on them, but we're all like, all right, let me see it again. They kind of, both of those teams came back to earth a little bit last year. So
yeah, they got a ton of question marks.
Yeah, they got a ton of question marks. I think the Cowboys are fair. The Cowboys had a good draft, Texas boy. There's no doubt they had a very good draft. Broncos are a team I mentioned as an honorable mention. Bengals are interesting, but Boulevard, I can't buy that defense, man. I can't. So I think there's a couple, but he's right. Look, he says this, bro, if you have a chance, if you have Burrow. He's not lying.
Oh, no, yeah, he puts – hey, well, look, they won 9 games, didn't make the playoffs.
Yeah,
that's
right.
kind of what it is. I mean, hey, think about this, Boulevard. Your guy had a historic year. You won 9 games, and that wasn't enough because you had the 28th ranked defense.
You know who else is another honorable mention?
Cardinals.
The Vikings. Simply because of their roster. I know the quarterback makes it very hard right now, but that roster is pretty nasty, Sills. That
Do you
Vikings
think
roster.
they're looking at J.J. McCarthy and trying to think and envision Jalen Hurts in him?
No, I don't think so. I don't see Jalen Hurts in him. No, I don't see Jalen Hurts in him.
Well, no, I'm talking about style of play because,
because he doesn't throw it.
RPO guy up at Michigan.
I don't see it. I see it a little bit more with Dart, who's talked about how he tries to model his game after Hurts. I kind of see that comp a little bit more where he's a little bit, he's elusive. He can run. He can get the ball downfield. He's got that playmaking ability. I thought the Giants had a good draft, Sills. I mean, you got Abdul Carter. You got Jackson Dart. They got Cam Scattaboo, I think. They got that Darius Alexander kid. They had a pretty good draft.
Still the Giants. I mean, you're gonna have to go out there and put it all together here. All right, let's do these supers, dude.
Oh, let's do it. Kyle Kokorski, what's up, brother? Xander and Sills, keep an eye on Greg Newsome from the Browns. Yeah, they got a lot of that could be an interesting one because they got a lot of dudes they're paying over there on defense. So,
hey, by the way, they're not keeping 4 quarterbacks in Cleveland.
Who do you think plays there? I'm so fascinated in this Cleveland quarterback situation. Got to think Flacco's out, right?
I don't know. Flacco won the comeback player of the year ago 2 years ago.
I know, but I'm talking about you're building the team for the future.
Wait a minute. I'll tell you why he's not out. He's not out because Stefanski's job's on the line, dude.
Right.
They gotta win. They gotta win now and doing project. So let's do this.
Yeah, but even if you win with Flacco, that's not going to save Stefanski. What if you showed the owner that the team looks good for the future? You got to show him you got a quarterback.
So Watson's not playing at all this year.
No, he's
Flacco,
done.
Pickett, Dylan Gabriel, and Shador.
I think Pickett might be out. Listen, hear me out. They're not cutting the third-round pick, Gabriel. No way. Okay, so lock him in. Third-round pick, they're not cutting him. There's a 0% chance they cut him. Lock Gabriel in. You're going to toss Shador Sanders in the practice squad? Again, I'm not saying he's going to be on merit. He would be a top 3, but he's probably going to get swooped up real quick. I don't know if that firestorm of the media that would come with that is necessarily something that the Browns want.
I think they got trash at quarterbacks.
Bro, they're going Flacco. This is what they're doing. Flacco, Gabriel, and then they're going to put Shador as the third. The 49er rule third quarterback.
Yeah.
Pickett's done. Kenny Smallhands is done.
I gotta do one last
Kenny
thing.
Two Hands. Kenny Two Gloves.
I gotta do one last thing here before we get to supers here. So wait a minute here. I did this, man. This was kind of really wild here. So look at what the NFL did here. This is wonderful, man. So if you go to NFL Shop right now, the number one jersey that they have up over the Super Bowl fucking MVP.
Bullshit.
Shador Sanders. The second one's Barkley. The third one,
prisoner of the moment.
2903 Hurts.
Yeah, man.
They're putting
Super Bowl is now old news. So
they're putting a fifth rounder selling his jersey more than they are the Super Bowl MVP. Holy cow.
Stop it.
Man. NFL Shop.
What were we talking about before we went to the Browns?
Be the face of the how can he be the face of the league when he's not even the face of his own team?
Drew Down, checking in. How much do you guys believe Barkley will be stopped?
No, I don't.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm leaning Emmett. You're not stopping that
dude,
line,
hey, Drew, the only way he's stopped if he gets hurt. Knock on wood.
I just don't see how you stop. It's one thing to say, all right, we're going to take away Barkley. How do you stop the Eagles' offensive line?
You're not.
Is there a way to stop the Eagles' offensive line legally in football?
No.
I don't know.
No.
Drew, appreciate it. Kyle, thanks for the love today, man. Bunch of supers from you. We appreciate you. Sills and Xander, why do I got this feeling about the Virginia Tech kid is taking Huff's job? Well, it's possible. What's Huff doing?
Hey, you know why you like him? Because you see a lot of production in the kid. You see 2 years of 25 sacks.
Yeah.
What? You know why? When you get taken from the 3rd round to the 7th round, the measurables are taken off the board and you start looking at production. Was the player productive? Because remember, the reason you go in latter rounds is because of the measurables. So if you're taking those measurables out and you're looking at, well, is the kid productive? Does he make plays? Okay, well, look at Shamir Stewart. That's all measurable, right? He has no production. This kid's got more production than the guy who went from Texas A&M. I think it's an interesting pick. I think that's probably a Vic parachuting in going, hey, the guy makes plays.
Yeah, he doesn't have the measurables, I guess. So some people are out on him, but he's a 6th-round pick. Let's see what happens. Brian Pope, what up, Pope? What a magnificent day. Starters, Project 89, my 7th, Heaven Keeley, and Sid the Kid. The Frozen One, LeBron, Ramon James, eliminated by Ant-Man today. You excited? I'm actually excited for that game.
I'm going to watch that.
See, this is where Sileo is so right sometimes. Look at how this is the most fascinated NBA game I've been in a while. One, LeBron James, obviously one of the most polarizing players, one of the best players to ever play in the NBA. And now you got what? You got a villain. You got a guy who's in his face, 23, 24 years old, saying, I don't give a shit who you are. I'm coming for you. I mean, that's
right.
good TV. NBA needs more of that, man. NBA needs more of that.
Sports, when you have a villain in sports, it's the best thing on the planet. It helps sell sports.
Boulevard says Luka's going to drop 50. Who you got tonight? I'm taking the T-Wolves.
I ain't taking the Lakers. You talk about a team that melts on ice.
I'm taking the Wolves, man. That dude, Anthony Edwards got ice in his veins. He doesn't give a shit. I love that player.
Hey, one thing that Shannon is right on, man. I'll tell you what, mask and all. It ain't the Lakers in 5. It's the T-Wolves in 5.
T-Wolves in 5. Lakers in 5. That's so funny.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Devin, thank you, bro. Devin says, a bust is Rager. JD is at least a player. We need to move on from calling him a bust because of where he was drafted. I do agree. I need more out of it. That's a good take, though, by Devin, because you do see
but
that.
nobody is talking about him being a bust.
I think Mike Sills might have mentioned that once or twice.
He's completely underachieved. You think he's underachieved?
For a 13th overall pick? Yeah, to some extent, yeah.
Good.
Fly Eagle says, back to yelling about football. Thank God. Yeah. Don't worry, we'll get back there. Here today and gone tomorrow.
It is.
Jeff the Bonehead. People would complain regardless of who goes to the White House or not. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. I don't care, though. Just get us another trophy. Good take, Bonehead. Good take. Kimbo says, you have him Boomer on.
Yes, Boomer's looking for a time to come on the program. He's been on like 5 times already.
He's been on a bunch. He works a lot. He's doing shows a lot.
Yeah, he's doing a ton of shit.
I think we got that one, Prince. Thank you. Stig Lord says, I'll relinquish power immediately and give it back to the JAKIB fan. So I did a JAKIB election when Marcus was on because we had everybody stirred up on politics. So you had a couple of the libs in there, you had a couple of conservative dudes in there, left, right. It's all good. We welcome everybody here. So the Bob Brown and Sig Lord was the ticket. All right. Versus John Secunda and M. Reyes. M. Reyes is waiting on the mail-in votes to hit. Joey S. says, Marcus is just another guy with Trump derangement syndrome. Sills. What about half of what he said? Wrong about half of what he said. Can we get back to football? We'll get back, Joey. We'll get back. Listen, Marcus is entitled to his opinion, brother. It makes the world go round.
Remember something, Joey. My show will always be topical.
Yeah.
Whatever happening today, we're going to talk about. Okay? I mean, I really wasn't going to go down this lane today. But other people have brought it in. And believe me, you know what we do here at JAKIB? What we call, we're like people that work at a restaurant. I'm not going to serve you chicken shit because I want to serve you chicken shit. I'm going to serve you what you want to eat. So when people are bringing shit up, that's where Big Sills the master chef.
I got you. Listen, and I think diversity of opinion is a beautiful thing.
Completely why we do
it. I
really
do. I believe that. Sig Lord says Tim Walz, Marcus Hayes, 2028.
Wait a minute. Tim Walz is a loser coach, though, wasn't he, or some shit like that?
Abe says, what does Clint think of my boy Ty Robinson?
Oh, man, he likes him a lot. I mean, again, they got to get him on the field.
What's this guy's nickname? What's the nickname that's floating around on him? Vanilla Gorilla?
Vanilla Gorilla? Really?
I think that's it. Vanilla Gorilla.
Hey,
my God.
Hey, I'll let you use that.
Is that what he calls himself? Can someone check me on this?
Yeah, please. I can't.
Yes, that is it. I'm telling you. He's got a whole T-shirt line.
So this kid from Nebraska calls
you call yourself Big Sills. He calls himself the Vanilla
Gorilla. Okay. So this kid from Nebraska calls himself the Vanilla Gorilla.
The Vanilla Gorilla. That is so funny.
Hey, somehow I'll get killed on that.
I know, right? I wouldn't surprise me.
His player comp is Big Sills.
All right, here we go. I think, did you see this one? Sills is bad.
No.
Shefty said this morning that Jihad had a degenerative knee. What the F? No way we have another dude like Scambide.
Hey, Pump.
Scambide is the worst Pumper.
Hey, Pump, it sounds like this guy stepped on a landmine or something, man. When he stepped on a landmine and how he went out, we put him back together again. He's a good player here. Holy shit, man. His knees are gone. His shoulders are gone. And these guys are talking this morning. The guy from the Jersey Housewives and them are going, probably pass rush him. He's got no knees. This guy doesn't have any shoulders. And you guys drafted him 31st.
I don't know what's going on. I'll tell you what, that report of plural from Albert Breer was tough to read. I'll tell you that much. Boy, look at Prince. He says these nicknames are racist as hell. First it was Exciting Whites, now Vanilla Grill. Prince, these people are out of pocket, bro. These people. Hey, listen, now that's been going on for a while. Remember White Chocolate? Come on, man. That's been going on for a while.
He was a great what's it, Jason Williams?
Yeah, great player.
He was good. He played in Florida.
Yep. All right, here we go. I think we got a couple more.
All right. Hey, guys, please hit the like button. Appreciate it.
JD3 says, Sills, how do you like Adoree Jackson? Did you
I
read
like
that?
him.
I have
think
a
he's-
hard time believing Keeley couldn't beat Isaiah 3 months ago, but he's supposed to be an all-pro now.
No.
He's not supposed to be an all-pro, JD3. I just need competence.
Keely Ringo. I don't know.
I need competence.
Yeah.
I need competence from him.
The massive holds defense is back.
Oh, you got this one with Olbrook apologizing. What, this prank. Are we serious? They dished out like $350,000 in fines. Half the draft gets prank called. What are we doing here? This is where I have been a fan of Shedeur, and I will acknowledge that this is what teams don't want. This dude is a freaking media hellstorm. All right, one way or another.
Hey, greatest 5th-round pick I've ever seen.
I
in pro
know, it's
football
hilarious.
history.
I mean, and they're fining teams because of it. What about the dude in Abdul Carter got a prank call last year? Cooper DeJean. Everybody gets prank calls nowadays.
You see the guy though, man. I mean, the D coordinator guy. I was going, oh my, this ain't working for me, man. I mean, holy shit, man. We live in such a soft ass community, man. Nowadays, where we have to apologize for the dumbest shit.
I ain't apologizing about shit. People want me to apologize. Get in line. No.
Hey, I'll tell you
what I think. No.
Hey, you'd be apologizing if 2903 don't get it done this year, Junior.
Oh, yeah. We'll see what happens. I recall you saying the same bullshit a year ago.
Hey, don't
we
worry.
We had a parade on Broad Street, which you skipped because you're afraid to face the music.
Oh, look at that. Look at that. He's bringing up, look at that. See, he's bringing up markers on me.
Yo, look, we had a couple people who were there. Flexen, you were at the parade with Jacob. Callie Baby was at the parade with Jacob. Mike Berger. Should Sileo have been there? Yes. Look at this guy. He says 100 men versus 1 vanilla gorilla.
Yeah.
You gotta be kidding me. Top.
So wait a minute here.
You gotta be kidding me, man.
Hey, Jalen.
That is hilarious, dude.
I'll tell you what. Me and Jerome versus a couple, like 20 dudes. And our day, I might take that.
Buddy, you're a crimpet. I'll roll you down the street.
All right, now I could jump over a stack of pennies. I
freaking take you and roll you home. Freaking Sills, I'll roll you home. All right, wait, here we go. $1,000 donation if Hayes talks like that to 5 Marines. Yeah.
Hey man,
take the 1,000, man.
Hollywood,
keep it.
By the way, Hollywood, thank you for the other day, man. You were awesome, and I appreciate that. I posted some
Hogan, our guy, my guy, catch, man. He dropped the 500. That was a cool day.
That was, man. You guys are really awesome here. There's one more.
Campbell is Doc Holliday. Got 2 knees, 1 for each of you.
Yeah. Holy cow, this guy Campbell, man. Seriously, man, he's a war veteran already.
Yeah, man. The Vanilla Gorilla is hilarious. Wait, you want to see his merch line?
Yeah, let me see it.
Let me pull it up. Gorilla.
The Vanilla Gorilla.
Vanilla Gorilla, Ty Robinson.
Ty Robinson, defensive tackle from Nebraska, nicknamed the Vanilla Gorilla.
Hey, look at this, dude. This is so funny. You're going to love this. You are going to love this.
Oh, my God. If it looks – let me
dude,
see.
Look at this thing. Are you kidding me, dude? The Vanilla Gorilla. There you go. You get it for your wife, get it for your daughter, get it for your son.
I actually like that.
Dude, it's sick. I think it's fire.
Yeah.
The Vanilla Gorilla with the Thai logo.
Did you like that Chris Hinton interview?
Oh, yesterday? Great, dude. Chris Hinton interview was dope. Really dope. Yeah, I thought it was cool, man. It's cool to hear from him. He's a under the radar, incredible NFL player, isn't he? Guy's got a better resume than Lane Johnson.
8 Pro Bowls and all pros. 8 of them.
He was well spoken.
He's the first rookie. He's the first rookie to ever be named to the Pro Bowl. And he's the first player to be named to the Pro Bowl at 4 different positions. Right guard, left guard, and left tackle. Bro, how's he not in Pro Football Hall of Fame?
I don't know. How has he not even been talked about?
I've never, in my 15 years working with those guys, I've never, ever saw his name.
Look, people want to give away the Vanilla Gorilla merch.
I like that, man.
I'll let you guys buy that on your own time. I'll stick to giving away Eagles shit. I got
I
a
love
bunch of giveaways I got to send out for the people who I owe giveaways to. Don't worry, I'll get them out. I'm way behind on everything.
Big
on
Z. Great stuff, brother. Keep up the great work here, man. What's the
Who is
best?
the best nicknames ever?
I like Pistol Pete.
Let me see.
Greatest nickname. The Kansas Comet was
Let's see
Sayers.
what I can get here. Sweetness, Walter Payton. Prime Time's a good one. Prime Time's a good one.
Great one. Playmaker.
Yeah, Playmaker's great. Megatron's dope. Weapon X.
How about Ant-Man?
Beast Mode. That's good. Ant-Man's good. I mean, the Black Mamba.
How about
Black Mamba's dope.
about
The Answer. The Answer's banging.
Chocolate Thunder.
Chocolate Thunder's fire.
Yeah.
Dr. J, the Doctor. He's good.
Man, that's a great nickname.
The Sultan of SWAT, the Great Bambino. Dude, that's
The
legendary.
Great Bambino.
Are you
Neon
kidding me?
Dion's good too.
The great one, Wayne Gretzky. That's
The
not
great
okay.
one. Yep.
Super
Air
Mario,
Jordan.
Mario Neal. Iron Mike.
Iron Mike. Air Jordan.
Air Jordans. I mean, that's the best one. Let's be real.
Come
That's the most iconic one.
How
All right?
about the Diesel?
That's good. Who's that? Diesel.
Shaq.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Notorious Conor McGregor.
Wilt the
Logistic
Stilt.
King.
How about Wilt the Stoot or the Dipper? Hakeem the Dream.
Weapon X is good. Honey Badger's pretty good.
Oh, I like that. Bone Crusher. I love that one. Yeah, he does.
Broadway Joe. Yeah, Bone Crusher's great.
Yeah.
Hakeem the
Hey,
Dream. That's a good one.
oh, I love that. Broadway Joe.
Megatron's great. I mean, that's a great nickname.
Too Tall Jones that's a great one. Big
King
Silk.
James.
how you
King
doing?
James is good. King James is a good
James
name.
good.
Black Mamba, I like, obviously.
Look at five.
There's some good ones. Prince, good question, bro. That was fun. There's some
The
good names out
Iceman.
there.
George Gervin.
There's some good ones.
The Boz. Brian. Oh, the Slim Reaper. Oh,
Does Jalen have a nickname? What's Jalen's nickname? Anything?
no show.
2903?
No show.
No show. He shares 2 best games ever in the Super Bowl.
No show.
Oh, BS. No show. 2903 would be more applicable than no show.
Hey, wait a minute. His name. Wait, I got one for you.
Look
Let's
at
see here.
Flex. Look at Flex. I'm not saying it. I'm not saying it. I'm not saying it, Flex.
How about Whoopi Hurts?
Oh, BS with that. 2903 is maybe applicable. The Golden Boy. I like that, Boulevard.
Yeah,
There you go.
that's a good one too, man.
Jalen Two Shoes. Yeah, you don't want to make that your overall one. You don't want to make that your overall nickname.
How about the Barkley doll? The Winford Trump, that Trumpy doll.
Oh, God. This is where we get into uncharted territory. I'm ready
Wait,
for.
wait. You see Barkley playing catch with his grandson too. Everyone's like, all right, here.
I didn't see it. You know what, dude? I had to mute the thing on Twitter. I'm like, I'm done with all you nerds. What am I up to? Am I up to 4 million views yet? That thing is still running. People still crying in my DM. You should see the DMs you get. Jump off a bridge. I'm like, really? Is that the best you got? You didn't like my take on sports ball, so you tell me to jump off a bridge?
Stands with 2 knees. That must be John
I
Campbell.
hope people realize how inconsequential sports ball takes are in the world.
Hey, there's John Campbell's new nickname. Stands with 2 knees. Oh my God.
You got to be kidding me, man. You
Boy,
got
I
to be
tell you,
kidding
you
me.
leave that open. Look at it. What's this one here?
There you go, Ray. Jalen W. Hurts. Bionic Dean.
Oh my God.
Does anyone on our team right now have a good nickname? Nobody. The Vanilla Gorilla is the best. This guy came in and took the crown.
Oh my God. That's right. Lane don't have one.
No.
Cam don't
Hurts
have
doesn't
one.
have one. AJ doesn't have one. Breadman. Breadman's good. Jalen Carter. The Breadman. I like that.
Oh,
Slim
Slay had
Reaper.
one.
Slim Reaper. You got Smitty. Slim
Yeah,
Reaper.
Slay had one, didn't he?
Big Dick Nick. Exciting Whites. I've always thought the Exciting Whites was pretty lame, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Vanilla Gorilla.
Bald Eagle.
The Vanilla Gorilla is way better than Exciting Whites. Who are we
Oh,
kidding here? Are you kidding me? The Vanilla Gorilla? That is hilarious.
Oh my God.
Who's
Big
this?
play.
Oh, we got a blood. It's a good one. Vin
Yeah.
Diesel for Smitty. Slim Reaper,
Yeah.
though. Slim Reaper's KD. Nah, he can screw off.
Yeah.
Swole Batman. Those are stupid.
Yeah.
Bald Eagle. Yeah, Vaughn. We need some better nicknames. Is
Ron
Jalen
Mex-
Hurts going to come up with one or what?
How Rod Mexico. Oh my God.
Godfather. It's a little weird. It's a little cheesy.
Oh my God. All right, Xander. All right. Hey, never a dull day in as the Eagle turns. Holy shit, man. This team is great. One
It's
day
the greatest team ever to cover, isn't it?
No, you know what? I swear to God, when I first started, I'm like, the fucking Eagles, man. There's nothing ever there. It's not like the Cowboys.
Are you
Holy
kidding me,
shit.
dude?
This thing, let me ask you this. You've been loving this team your whole. Has this team become more interesting over the last 10 years than it's ever
Well,
been?
it's hard for me to say because how can I give an honest, unbiased opinion on that? Because it became my life.
I don't ever remember that. Oh, wait,
No,
the Buddy
it
years.
became my life, Sills. Like,
The Buddy years were very interesting.
no, I know, but for me personally, like my perspective on this is slanted because I was always an Eagles fan. Then in 2020, at the end of 2021, it became my life. Like it's literally what I've done for all day, every day for the last 4 years now, 5 years. So for me, it's everything is heightened. I mean, I can't even say I wish the quarterback went to the White House without, everybody throwing their panties into a bind. So everything is heightened now for me.
I leave you with this. So Belichick ripped CBS Sports for selectively editing his interview over the weekend to make his girlfriend, Jordan Hudson, look bad. Belichick is suggesting that CBS set up.
He's weird. That whole thing is weird.
And he goes like this. They didn't honor the things that we had asked. And that's why everyone got a little bit upset, is because some of the things that they were doing, they were trying to make Bill painted in an unnice way here. Bill Belichick's 24-year-old girlfriend, Jordan Hudson, played an instrumental role in causing Hard Knocks to ditch a series featuring Belichick and UNC. And that's what the Athletics reporting. Jordan Hudson, Belichick's girlfriend.
That story. I'm going to let that thing unfold as it may. That's a weird ass story and something you would never catch me a part of. That is goofy. The whole thing is goofy from top to bottom. I mean, she's got Bill Belichick. This guy's won. I mean, he's like the godfather of football, for crying out loud, with how much he's won. And he's got this chick who's like, I don't know. You talked about Sierra. You like Sierra. She ain't no Sierra.
Oh,
all right. She's got Billy on his finger, wrapping him around. That's a weird situation, that whole thing.
Would you send your kid to play there?
I thought you brought up that point. I mean, you go get some of these kids and these look. I don't think so. I mean, listen, he is the greatest coach of all time.
Okay, that's the only reason he gets in my living room.
Yeah.
Okay, but you try that with a black mom down in Florida, single mom, with a guy who looks like that stupid.
I can't speak on that because I don't know that situation.
Oh, but I've been in them rooms.
I know
you, man.
Yeah, you have.
Hey, one last story so I had a guy named Derwin Jones that played with me, right? He's sitting next to me. I got Jerome over here on the other side. Here comes his mom. It was like a scene out of Glory Days. His mom, Mrs. Jones, I hear Jerome go, "Hey, Derwin, is that your mom?" I said, "Hey, Derwin, that's your mom." He goes up to Jimmy and goes, "He ain't practicing until he gets deficiencies up." We started laughing. She pulled him by his ear off the field and pulled him off the field and goes, "You are getting your grades. You're not going to be we had too many dumbasses on we're laughing our asses off." Jimmy
when moms were moms.
Hey, man, she wasn't tolerating any of that shit, man. I was like, damn. I looked over and Jerome's like,
wait, give credit to M. Reyes. Bill Bella whipped.
Oh,
man. And that's why M. Reyes said the mail-in votes that are coming in rapidly, he is taking the lead in the JAKIB election to be the president of the JAKIB community.
Well, I told you, man. About time you're going to be the president of something, because if I had you'd be the president of L Takes.
Anyway. No, when he came on your show and absolutely throttled you.
Yeah, he throttled. Hey, M. Reyes, trust me when I tell you, son, I would love to have a couple beers with you.
And Reyes is dope. I like Reyes.
Yeah. All right, Xander. Good stuff as usual,
All
brother.
right,
We appreciate it, man.
Let me tell you this. That was a fun segment. We need a little bit more of them. You know, we've had some contested, not between me and you, but the topics. It's like everybody gets their panties in a bunch. That was a fun segment there.
Yeah, because you know why? I mean, look, one more time. We're a topical network. Whatever is going on today and whatever people are talking about, we're going to talk about. So now you're talking about the fifth-year bullshit option that they ended up not wanting to give Jordan Davis a contract extension to because Hugh John and the hot guy from the Jersey Shore was sitting there saying, oh, yeah, you know, these are good. They ain't working on shit. Okay? They're not working on shit with that guy. You're right. They got him for 2 years. Oh, here's another guy here. Bill is
Prince, you ain't wrong, Prince. Prince, you ain't wrong, bro.
No comment. No comment.
Yeah, well, but Prince, you don't think he's going to doing? Prince, if you're going to take that, I got no issue with your take. All right. Pick a better Chick, dude. Chick seems like a Looney Tune.
You get a better looking one, too.
Yeah, Chick is a Looney Tune looking, Looney Tune acting. Hey, I ain't with her.
I'm just saying this to you, man. If I got that kind of money in the bank, I'll tell you this, man, you better be right there. Hey, dude.
All right, yeah, listen, man. We got people listening to this show. I'm out on this. All right, you're gonna get me in trouble here.
No.
My boy Artax, he calls me that. Look, this is the nickname he gave me after
Xander the Suck Out.
The Suck Out.
Why the suck out?
I don't know what it means.
I don't either.
He didn't like my take on Jalen in the White House, so this is what he called me. I got it. Listen, you got to respect it because he keeps coming here 3 days straight giving me the take. All right, I got to respect it.
Hey, Artax, how about this? You look, I guess you would have to be this. Jalen, take a wounded knee. Hey, come on. Guy goes to the White House, so what, man? I don't give a shit anymore. My wife did say something, though.
It is. It's a very funny word. What? Said what?
My wife did say that, though, man. She goes like, what if Michael didn't want you to do something? What would you do? And she's right. I hear you. My friend was offended. My wife was set dead on. She goes, I heard you talking your bullshit. And then she goes like this. She goes, what if Michael or Jerome came to you and asked you? Dude, I went to a Klan rally and broke it up with Jerome Brown.
I know. Yeah, that story is great.
Okay.
Yeah, I get that. What if you asked them, to go?
They do it too. They would.
Opposite way, yeah.
You heard Michael when he came on. I love you, man. You know how much I love you. We've been friends.
That was good. By the way, have you seen that interview? Blew up.
Oh, did it?
Well, it's not blew up, but it's doing pretty good.
All right, dude. I appreciate you, brother.
All right, man. You guys are hilarious. That was a funny ass segment. Sills is funny, and the chat is even funnier. So good stuff all around, brother.
You got it, my friends. I appreciate it, Xander. Thank you, big brother. All right, man. Guys, don't forget, do me a favor. Make sure you check out our great friends at Morgan & Morgan. John Morgan just sent me something, too. It's pretty interesting. I'll share it with you guys here in a minute. #1 injury law firm in America with over $30 billion recovered for families all across the country. Family in Pennsylvania, I tell you about, they initially offered them $650K. They ended up getting $30 million for that family. Like the one in Florida as well. That family in Florida was offered $300,000. They ended up getting $12 million. Why is Morgan & Morgan important? And why do they win? Because they win. When you sign up with them, they win their cases. It's why they're #1. You ever injured? Please do me a favor and check out our friends at forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. That's forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. And do me a favor, you tell them Big Sales sent you.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Your financial future is on the line. Are you ready for what's next? At Leone & Company Wealth Management, we help young professionals, business owners, and pre-retirees navigate the complexities of building and protecting wealth. For young professionals, we'll help you grow your wealth, plan for your future, and make the most of your hard-earned dollars. For business owners, we provide strategies to protect your company, manage risks, and create a lasting legacy for both your business and personal wealth. For pre-retirees, we'll design a plan to secure your retirement, ensuring you can live comfortably and confidently in your next chapter. Whether you're just starting out, managing a thriving business, or preparing for retirement, we're here to help you take control of your financial future. The first consultation is on us. Get the advice you need without the cost. Let's make your financial vision a reality. Take the next step. Scan the QR code to schedule your free consultation today. And of course, go Birds.
They're carving them up and good play calling along the way. First and goal at the 6.
On the field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong as the #1 health insurer in the region. No IBX is always looking out for you.
EAGLES. Eagles.
Big Sales National Football Show. Please hit the like button. I got asked some interesting questions the last couple days, especially with Barkley, and nothing political with him. Somebody goes, Sales, do you think after the season that he had where he went for 2,005 yards that he's a Hall of Fame player? I said no. He's not a Hall of Fame player. Too many wasted years in New York. Here, if Saquon Barkley had played his career with the Eagles, he's a slam dunk. Circumstances sometimes dictate it. Look at Sue here. He's 29 years old, and he's 68th in rushing. No matter what you think he's going to do over the next 4 years, that still puts him at around 11,000 rushing yards, which keeps him still out of the top 15. How's he getting in? What guy in the modern day with running backs has gotten into the Pro Football Hall of Fame? Does the Super Bowl help? Absolutely. He had a Hall of Fame season. He doesn't have a Hall of Fame career. He needs another 2K. Now, if he has another 2,000-yard rushing season, which no running back has ever done, then there's a conversation where he's done something that no one else has done. Then you start getting into a different conversation. Okay, here. Let's take a look at this. And by the way, it's the failure of the Giants, not him. You guys are looking at, it's not a rip on him, man. The Giants are the ones that sucked in this whole thing. Let me tell you something. Him winning that Super Bowl justified a lot of shit that went on in New York for him and the inabilities of them not being able to win while he was there. Okay, let's take a look at this here. Barkley's 29 years old. He's got 7,000 216 yards rushing. That puts him at 68th all-time in NFL rushing history. Okay? Guys, do me a favor. Please hit the like button. It's not a rip. Giants failed them. Here. All-time leading rushers. Time leading NFL rushers. And let's just say, put $4,000 on. Let's put 4,000 more yards on. Okay, and that puts him at 8, 9, 10, 11. Puts him about 12,000. Okay, 12,000 rushing yards. That's going to put you in a conversation, especially if there's another Super Bowl involved. The Giants totally failed him. So let's say that puts him at 12. That'll put him at 17th. Fred Taylor. I'll make a point to you. If he's 17th, the only guy, every single running back. Here, wait. You guys may have a point here. Sue, you might be right. Because listen to this, Sue. Emmitt Smith, Hall of Famer, 1. Peyton, 1. Frank Gore's getting in. It may not be a 1, but he's getting in. He's third all time. Sanders, Hall of Famer. Adrian Peterson's getting in. He's not in already. Curtis Martin, Hall of Famer. Tomlinson, Hall of Famer. Bettis, Hall of Famer. Dickerson, Hall of Famer. Dorsett, Hall of Famer. Brown, Hall of Famer. Falk, Hall of Famer. Edgerrin James, Hall of Famer. We're at 14. Marcus Allen, 14, Hall of Famer. Franco Harris, Hall of Famer. Thurman Thomas, 16th, Hall of Famer. The top 16 guys are Hall of Famers in order. 17's Fred Taylor. Derrick Henry is at 19 now, and he's at 11,000 rushing yards. So if he gets 4,000 more yards, now that'll be 30, 31, 32, 33. He's going to have productive seasons over the next 4 years that he gets $4,000. And then you can have a conversation. If he's at that, if he gets the 12,000 rushing yards, if he does not get the, let's see, Eddie George. I thought Eddie George had a Hall of Fame type career. Eddie George rushed for 10. Actually, think about this. Eddie George has rushed for 10,000 rushing yards. Marshawn Lynch. Here, LaShawn McCoy is at 11,102. He had a great career. OJ played in the years when they had 14 games, and OJ was the only guy on the team. Corey Dillon. Steven Jackson has 11. Steven Jackson has more. Here are the guys that have more rushing yards than Saquon Barkley that are not Hall of Famers. Fred Taylor, 11,695. Steven Jackson, 11,4. Corey Dillon, 11,2. LaShawn McCoy, 11,1. Warwick Dunn, 11. Ricky Waters, 10. Jamal Lewis, 10. Tiki Barber, 10. Eddie George, 10. Marshawn Lynch, 10. Otis Anderson, 10. And Ricky Williams, 10. So he's going to have to beat those guys out for him to be considered a Hall of Fame running back. I mean, he doesn't have more rushing yards than Warwick Dunn. So is he a Hall of Famer? No. Derrick Henry's a Hall of Famer. Derrick Henry is going to retire probably around 14,000 yards. Let me say this. If Derrick Henry gets another 1,900 yards like he did this year or 1,800 yards this year, that'll put him at 14,000 yards. He'll be like 7th all time. So, I mean, by the way, one more time, that's the Giants failing him. The Giants failed the guy. If he had been on a better organization, how about this? If he was there with Jerry Reese and he was there when Eli was in his prime, he'd be in the Hall of Fame. Okay? Warrick Dunn was good, though. Didn't know he had that many yards. Yeah, Warrick Dunn had 10,967 yards. How many yards did he have receiving, too? He was a really great ball player, man. Flies under the radar. Had 50 touchdowns. Receiving. Get this, Warrick Dunn had 5,000 receiving yards. So Warrick Dunn had 15,000 total yards. Saquon Barkley's nowhere near that. I mean, Dunn had 15,000 total yards. Counting receiving, how many catches did he have? Get this. You think that Saquon Barkley's better than Warrick Dunn? Warrick Dunn had 510 catches and 4,339 yards. He had just shy of 11,000 rushing yards and 50 touchdowns. You really believe that Saquon Barkley was a better player than Warrick Dunn? Where? Where was he better? And to put this in more proper perspective, Warrick Dunn's one of the great players and he played 12 games, 12 years, I mean. Barely missed any time. I mean, these were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years of 12 where he had over 1,000. But he still compiled 11,000 rushing yards and nearly 5,000 receiving. Come on, man. Here it is right here from scrimmage. He had a total of 64 touchdowns and 15,306 total yards. Where's Warrick Dunn in that? And he's not a Hall of Famer. He will not have a better career because he will not have more. He's not getting 500 catches. You think Saquon Barkley by the end of it will have 15,000 total yards? Let's see where Barkley is now. Bro, you're fucking high. He's 29 years old now already. He's not going to have the career Warrick Dunn had. Let's see here. Here's where Barkley is. There's not a chance in hell he has 500 catches. 15,000 total yards. Here. He's got 7 years, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, what's his name? Played 5 more years. In those 5 years, he's got to get 8, 9, he's got to get 4,000 more rushing yards. And he's got to get 3,000 more receiving yards. And he's got to get another 190 catches. And an offense that doesn't throw the ball. What are you talking about? Barkley just broke the record. So what? That doesn't put you in the Hall of Fame, dude. 1 year, Smitty, doesn't put you in the Hall of Fame. Doesn't. Here, somebody goes like this. Well, here, take a look at this one. Go down this line. Look at this dude. And I don't really like this guy, but his career was pretty great. Here's Tiki Barber. You think he had a better career than Tiki Barber as a Giant? Tiki Barber had 11,000 rushing yards and 5,000 receiving with 600 catches. You think he's better than that? He had 16,000 total yards from scrimmage. You think that Saquon Barkley's a better player than Tiki Barber? Do you? Bro, he's not done yet? Okay, I get it. He had a Hall of Fame season. He's 70th on the list now. I'm talking career. Oh, wait. No, Smitty, that's a different conversation. Bo Jackson's the best running back I've ever seen. And it's not close. Okay? Of course. So you think that Saquon Barkley will have 700 catches and 5,000 receiving yards when he's done and 11,000 rushing yards? No way. He had a Hall of Fame season. That don't make Hall of Fame careers. Yes, exactly what I said. Glad you can listen. Hey, by the way, say that again. We're talking player or careers? Interesting. Barkley's absolutely better than Barkley's better than Barber. Where? One season? Only 1 year. He's a better pass catcher. And he's a better guy who had a better career. Career was, but not player. Careers put you in the Hall of Fame, though. Okay? Your career puts you in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. You could be a better ball player than somebody else, but if you don't fulfill your destiny and you're on a bad situation, like here, Archie Manning is probably better than Eli as a starting quarterback in the NFL. But Eli was in a better situation because he was in New York and they built a team around him. He's not on pace for the Hall of Fame. Here's what he's on pace for. Let's take a look at it. See where he is. You got to go all the way down the list because he's 70th. Actually, 65th. My bad. So here's what he's averaging for his career. He's averaging 17-game average. He's averaging 12. He's averaging 1,200. Yeah, he's averaging 1,200 yards, 1,201 yards, and 9 touchdowns over his 7 years. Okay, that's what he's averaging. Okay, so at the end of the day here, he's got a long way to go. Okay? Bro, that has nothing to do with what I'm talking about fucking right now. What a dummy. Try to stay on topic with me. We're talking about Hall of Fame, not captain of your team, dickhead. Sills, for Barkley to get Hall of Fame, he has to do it with major accomplishments. 2 Super Bowls, a Super Bowl MVP, or a league MVP would help. Yeah, how many times has he led the NFL in rushing? Once. Okay, so he'll lead the NFL. Now, that's not a big indictment there because Frank Gore didn't lead the NFL. I don't think at any time, but I think he led it once. But here's the deal. Watch this. Who's a better football player, Frank Gore or Saquon Barkley? Who's a better player? Who's a better player? Who do you think is a better player? Thank you. Who's the better ball player? Barkley. Who's the better ball player? Saquon Barkley or Frank Gore? You guys say Barkley, right? That he's a better ball player. Okay. How can that be? When Frank has 16,000 rushing yards, he'll never even sniff that number. Gore has 16,000 rushing yards. How is he a better ball player? How is he a better player? How can you even say that? I happen to think that Barkley's a better talent. He will not nowhere near come close to his career. That's what I'm talking about when it comes to Hall of Fame. Your career is different. You could be a more gifted player. I'm going to prove a point here to you about Jalen Hurts. And Frank's not number 2. Walter Payton is. Emmett's 1, Payton's 2, and Frank Gore's 3rd. Okay? Okay, I mean, listen. Sills, who would you rather have run the ball? Frank Gore or Saquon Barkley? Barkley. That's a no-brainer. But there's so many things that have to go around one's career. Are you in a good organization? Are you in a good team? Do you stay healthy? I'll tell you something that's really crazy about Frank Gore. Fly, you want to hear this? He was in the same backfield with Edgerrin James. I can't remember the other guy, the guy who got hurt in the Fiesta Bowl, played with the Bills. And he was also there with the guy from the Redskins. What was the kid? Oh, God. They were all in the same backfield together at Miami. That's at Willis McGahee, and Clinton Portis, and Gore were all on the same Miami Hurricane team. Frank Gore could not stay healthy. He was never healthy at UM. He got to the NFL. Dude, I don't know what happened to him. He turned into this like Iron Man, and he never got it. He never was hurt like in the pros. For 4 years at UM, his career, everyone was like, man, this guy's really a good ball player. But he could never. And that gave Willis McGahee, like, look at this. 16, 16, 14, 14, 14, 16, 16, 16, 16, 16, 16, 16, 14, 16, 15. That's how many games he started a year. I mean, he never, and he was on good ball teams. So when somebody asked me that question, I was like, yeah, man, look, I think that if Barkley gets another Super Bowl and he gets another 1,900 yards rushing, then you're going to start talking about, because what voters will do, they'll do this. He got jobbed in New York. He got around a really good football team. That guy really, yeah. Dude, get this. Listen to this. You're biased. How can I be biased with a guy who's got, wait a minute, Wolf. I'm biased with a guy with 16,000 rushing yards? Does Gore have 20,000 yards from scrimmage? No, he's got 19,980. This guy's got 20,000 yards from scrimmage. And you think I'm biased? 20 yards from scrimmage. 20,000 yards. Okay. Bro, when you're third all-time in rushing, that's not bias. Yeah, whatever. You're biased because the guy's 70th. Yeah, that's probably more so than anything on this. Dude, just an anomaly. It's incredible. Eli Manning better than Elway? Hell no. Since Eli has more passing yards. Yeah, but hey, senor, it's a different passing game too. And it's a different league. You threw the ball 22 times a game back in Elway's day. Now you throw it 50. Different league. Use the metrics, kid. And if I had to pick a quarterback, okay, that's not a good metric. He's a two-time Super Bowl champion, same as Elway. Who's a better player? I get it. That's not what my another guy who can't follow along. Moving the goalpost? How am I moving the goalpost? You're talking about a guy who played in the 80s and 90s versus a guy who played in the 2000s. Talk about moving the goalpost. Fuck, they didn't even wear the same helmets. This guy's trying to use a goal. Well, Johnny Unitas played. What a dummy. You can always count on Senor with a shit take. How you doing? All right. Oh, you're going to love this one. Speaking of talent, so this coming season, do you not agree that Jalen Hurts, and I'm going to use that WIP topic that I did with Xander here, and I'm going to use it with you. Those guys were stupid when they put out there that this is a prove-it year for Hurts. It's not a prove-it year. He's proved he can play, and he's proved he can win. What they should have asked was, can he carry a football team for 20 weeks on his back and win a Super Bowl? You reference back to 22. Okay? Let me write that down because I'm going to read this. I'm curious, Sills, who has more yards out of Barkley and Gore in college only? I think Barkley has way more yards. Oh, Barkley, his college numbers won't remotely come close. He could have 5,000 rushing yards and 7. You're still not at 16,000. He has 16,000 rushing yards. I mean, dude, Frank Gore's got 16,000 rushing yards. Okay? 16,000. All right. So do we agree that Jalen's going to have a big year? Would we not agree that Jalen's going to have a career year this year for them to win the Super Bowl? Do you agree? Because the defense, you have no idea what it is. It could be 10 times worse than how good you were a year ago. And by the way, I'm not saying that. I don't think so. I don't know. Okay? I'm not assuming. Look at this dude. Once again, hey, Trumpster. Don't think for me. Jalen has taken a step forward. He took a step backward as a passer last year because he had to. That's what you guys told me. Was it because he wanted to? It's because he had to, right? Jalen took a step backwards, right? So assuming this defense takes a step back, Jalen has to take a step forward. Correct, Curtis? Yes. No, I got it. I got you. Okay? Yes. Yes. So let me ask you this. Who's a better talent over the last 2 years? No, my bad, Curtis. That was me. I digested your take wrong. Who's been a better talent? Baker Mayfield or Jalen Hurts? The last 2 years. I'm going to make a point to this. Who's been a better talent? No. I'm not talking team accomplishment. He did nothing when it came to carrying your football team a year ago. It was all Barkley. I'm asking you, between the two quarterbacks, who was a better talent? Baker Mayfield or Jalen Hurts? Let's stay there. No team stuff. Who was a better talent? Let's take a look at that. And by the way, if I'm not mistaken, I believe that Baker's 2-1 versus Hurts, right? With a playoff win. I'm going to make a point here. It's not to dismiss Jalen. Nobody would say that Jalen Hurts outplayed Baker Mayfield the last 2 years. The Eagles completely outplayed the Bucs the last 2 years. Yes. Two things can be true. Baker the last 2 years, 11,036 attempts, 771 completions, 8,500 passing yards, 70 touchdowns, and 26 picks with a 100 rating. Hurts, 890 attempts, 600 completions, 6,700 yards, 40 touchdowns, just as many picks, 20. As the numbers and the trends dictate, Hurts doesn't have to be special each and every single week for the Eagles to be great. Last 2 years, they show it. He averages about 3,100 passing yards the last couple of years, and he's averaging 20 touchdowns with 10 picks. That team is going to win a Super Bowl if Saquon Barkley continues to be the player he is, and that defense comes around, which means, to my point, Hurts has to have a great year this year. The guys at WIP were onto something. He's got to be better than what he's been in any time in his career, and he can't have 2 games, the NFC title game and the Super Bowl, and call it a great year when he wasn't called on 2 most important games. I get it. Same thing I say about Josh Allen. I don't believe Josh Allen can win 4 games. I don't believe he can win 4 games in a row to win a Super Bowl. And I don't believe Jalen Hurts can win 4 games by himself to win a Super Bowl. I don't believe that. I don't believe Lamar Jackson can win 4 games in a row and win a Super Bowl. If Saquon Barkley doesn't rush for more than 1,500 yards this year and that defense finishes out of the top 5, you're going to be a really good football team this year, but you are not going to be in the Final Four. My prediction. And by the way, we have to wait and see how that thing plays itself out on the defensive side of the ball. You won the Super Bowl because the defense, just excelled. Game on the line, who you taking, Hurts or Baker? Well, I've seen those 2 guys go in the last 2 years head-to-head, and Baker's blown them off the field. All I can go is what you tell me when he talk about Josh Allen beating them. Mayfield's dominated. Has he not? Has Baker Mayfield not dominated the Eagles the last 2 years? Yes or no? And don't give me shit about players missing. Welcome to the NFL. I'm not talking, again, that's moving the goalpost. Guy, eat a dick. He's 2-1 versus you, dude. Here we go. Blah. No. Listen, I'm asking you about the talent. If both guys were on a football, if you were building your team, you'd build it around Jalen, right? He's not a better talent. Where? Where has he shown that? Well, he's won a Super Bowl. Dude. I mean, I'm talking about building a team. Where is he a better talent? I don't believe those guys. Do I believe Josh Allen's going to win 4 games in a row in Buffalo? No, I don't. And to take out Mahomes in the AFC, I don't. I believe our team is freaking loaded. And I do. Now, look, You want to change the room and the conversation? Does Jalen Hurts do more? Does he do more? And is he the best quarterback in the league with the players that he has on his football team? And does he utilize all of the assets that he has on his team like he did at Alabama? Absolutely. Absolutely. There is very few people in the NFL that utilizes the people around him, sees the game as well as Jalen Hurts. Absolutely true. All these conversations can be true, guys. Aaron Rodgers is a better talent than Tom Brady. If you were going to take a guy out of college and you were going to build your team around between Brady and Aaron Rodgers, you would take Aaron Rodgers. Okay? This is where IP missed it on the topic. The topic, he's going to have to play. Now, get this. If Saquon goes for 1,600 yards and that defense finishes in the top 5, you're going to be right there again. And it's going to be tough to beat you. Absolutely true. Absolutely true. Okay? Again, dude, that's not the conversation. I'm talking talent here. That's not the conversation. That's part of it. This take is really interesting. Hurts is a great team quarterback, but not a great quarterback. What would I rather have? I'd rather have the great team quarterback than the great quarterback. Kirk Cousins is a great quarterback. But is he a great team quarterback? No way. That's a fucking great take, Michael. I hadn't looked at it like that. That's a wonderful take. And get this, I'd rather have the great team quarterback. Yes. I had not thought that. That's a wonderful take. And you just changed that's wonderful. Hurts is a great team quarterback. He's just not a great quarterback. But Sills, what would you rather have? I'd rather have the great team quarterback. Hey, dude, I talk team all the time. That's what makes him different. There it is. He is not a great quarterback, but he is a great team quarterback. And it takes a team to win a Super Bowl. Absolutely spectacular. That's the take of the year so far. That's a take of the year. Okay. And hey, bad take, Sills. Football is a team sport. Hey, Monster, I think you're probably going along the line now, and I appreciate the 8 months here, but I kind of think that's what the guy's saying. Okay. Yeah. That's what every team wants. You're right. I'd rather have the great team quarterback. And I think there's two different, I think they are. Brady's a team quarterback. Brady's not the greatest arm. He's not the greatest arm of all time. Look at Peyton Manning. He's got a noodle for an arm. He's a great team quarterback. Isn't that funny? Let me take a look at this stuff. Isn't that great? All the great team quarterbacks. That's great. That's a great freaking take. I love that. That's so good. I don't think Shedeur Sanders is a great team quarterback. That's why he won't make it. Brady, the greatest team quarterback of all time. Drew Brees, not a great arm, not high, not tall. Peyton Manning, another great team quarterback. You know what? I know there's a Netflix thing coming out with Brett Favre, the fall of Favre. Try getting that past Packer fans. Okay? Who do you think they're going to revere more 20 years from now? Aaron Rodgers or Brett Favre? No matter what he did. Packer fans aren't going to revile that guy. Favre was a great team player. Roethlisberger. Yeah, he was a team player. Phillip Rivers. He was a really good team quarterback. Rodgers was awful. But he would, here, of all these quarterbacks, this is a great topic on Jalen. Think of this for a second. Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Peyton Manning, Brett Favre, Ben Roethlisberger, Phillip Rivers. You would draft Aaron Rodgers over every one of those guys. Every one of those guys. Every one of them. You know, one of the big things they said about that, you know what? I'll make this point to you. Dan Marino's not a great team quarterback. He's not. That's why he never won. You want to hear this? This is going to be the greatest, maybe the craziest thing I ever say in my life. Is Jalen Hurts a better team quarterback than Dan Marino? Yes. Yes. Sills, are you saying that he's a better player? No. I'm taking that guy's take. No, he's not a better quarterback, but he's a better team quarterback. Jalen Hurts is a better team quarterback than Dan Marino. Is he more gifted? No, not near. Dan Marino's one of the greatest gifted players of all time at the position. Wow. Here, let's do team. Would I take Jalen over Brady? Never. Would I take Jalen over Brees? Never. Manning? Never. Favre? Roethlisberger? Team, not talent. Rodgers. Would I take Aaron Rodgers over Jalen Hurts in his prime? I would probably only take Aaron Rodgers over Hurts because he's so freaking gifted. He's the most gifted player to ever play the position. Nobody has 48 touchdown passes and 4 picks in a season. Nobody does that. Elway, no. Moon. No. Carson Palmer, yes. Vinny, yes. Russell Wilson. When I take Jalen Hurts over Russell Wilson in Wilson's prime, probably. Remember something, though, dude. You get paid on talent. You don't get paid on wins. You guys keep forgetting that. Okay? No, okay. Now, that's probably more the case right here. That's probably true right there because of Sierra. Okay, forget it. I go with Russell Wilson because of Sierra. Bledsoe, I would. Cousins, Carr, Never over Montana. Montana's the ultimate. I think Joe Montana's the best quarterback that's ever played pro football. You were asking me if I had to pick a quarterback and it didn't matter who was on the team. Joe Montana's the only guy on this list that wouldn't matter. Or it'd be between Brady and Montana. The two greatest quarterbacks ever to play in the NFL. Joe Montana had nobody on offense to win a Super Bowl. He doesn't need it. You couldn't name me one guy on that offense. That first Super Bowl he won. Name me one guy. Name me one guy. One guy on that Super Bowl team that he won the first of four. Never threw a pick in the Super Bowl. 140 quarterback rating. Dwight Clark, he was good. Wasn't a Hall of Fame guy. Dwight Clark's a good ball player. John Taylor wasn't on that team. Not true. Name me another guy that was on that football team. I would take Hurts over Vic. Yes. Yes. I think Michael Vick is one of the greatest talents to ever play. And there's a great example of that. Okay? Why can't Josh beat Mahomes in the playoffs? Answer: doesn't have a very good roster around him. He doesn't have the fortune of having a Howie Roseman. That's just where you're drafted. That's where you go to school. Jalen Hurts has benefited and been selectively perfect, and it's really worked out great for him. Many people would love that. Be able to go to Alabama, Oklahoma, and the Eagles. And by the way, that's awesome. Good for him. It's not a rip. You go to organizations that know how to win and know how to build teams. What's wrong with that? Nothing. Absolutely nothing wrong with it. All right. Don't forget, guys, our good friends at Morgan & Morgan with over $30 billion recovered for clients across the country with thousands, as you heard John say the other day, thousands of attorneys from coast to coast. When it comes to servicing people and great Americans across this country, John Morgan gets it done. The reason they get it done is because they win. Folks, if you're ever injured, please do me a favor. Check out Morgan & Morgan by going to forthepeople.com/Big Sills or pound law 529. That's forthepeople.com/Big Sills or pound law 529, and do me a favor. You tell them Big Sills sent you.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Your financial future is on the line. Are you ready for what's next? At Leone & Company Wealth Management, we help young professionals, business owners, and pre-retirees navigate the complexities of building and protecting wealth. For young professionals, we'll help you grow your wealth, plan for your future, and make the most of your hard-earned dollars. For business owners, we provide strategies to protect your company, manage risks, and create a lasting legacy for both your business and personal wealth. For pre-retirees, we'll design a plan to secure your retirement, ensuring you can live comfortably and confidently in your next chapter. Whether you're just starting out, managing a thriving business, or preparing for retirement, we're here to help you take control of your financial future. The first consultation is on us. Get the advice you need without the cost. Let's make your financial vision a reality. Take the next step. Scan the QR code to schedule your free consultation today. And of course, go Birds.
They're carving them up and good play calling along the way. First and goal at the 6.
On the field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong as the #1 health insurer in the region.
This Bill Belichick story with this, what's her name? Jordan Hudson. Holy cow. So supposedly Bill's upset with CBS because here's the story here. Ready? Grandpa Belichick, Bill Belichick ripped CBS for selectively editing his interview over the weekend with his gumad, Jordan Hudson. Belichick is suggesting that CBS set him up after previously agreeing upon conditions and didn't honor it. Hey, welcome to the media. I agreed to speak to CBS Sunday morning to promote my new book, The Art of Winning, and lessons of my life in football. And he's got this chick in the background waving folks off. Prior to his interview, I clearly communicated with the publicist at Simon & Schuster that the promotional interview I participated in would agree to focus solely on the contents of the book. Unfortunately, that expectation was not honored during the interview. I was surprised when unrelated topics were introduced. What? How'd you get with a 20-year-old chick? I repeatedly expressed to the reporter, Tony, whatever his name is, and the producer that I preferred to keep the conversation centered on the book. Well, welcome to the real world, Bill. After this occurred several times, Jordan, with whom I share both a personal and private professional relationship with, stepped in and reiterated that the point was to help the discussion. She was not deflecting any specific questions or topics, but she simply was doing her job to make sure the interview stayed on its rails. I met her in Palm Beach on a flight. The final 8-minute segment does not reflect the productive 30-minute conversation that we had, which covered a wide range of topics related to my career. Instead, they decided to go towards my gumad and me. Oh, boy. Would you send your kid to Bill Belichick when he's friskying around with a 24-year-old chick? That guy'd walk into my wife's office or my wife's room. She'd look at him and go, get the fuck out of here. Not letting your kid go to work with something like that. I'm not sending my kid down there when this guy's playing frisky feet with a 24-year-old chick. You're supposed to be a leader of men. How do you tell a guy, hey, be respectful to women when you got a 20-year-old chick that could be your great granddaughter? I'm not doing that. Hey, that's not happening. Anyway, great stuff as always. Guys, I appreciate you. 2 to 6 tomorrow. I appreciate everybody at JAKIB. Do me a favor, hit the like button. We'll see you on the flip side.